right there as far as background music goes, right? Like, that's not too loud, I hope. All right. All right, let's see if I can remember how to do this. I'm so out of practice, it's not even funny. My cameras aren't over here anymore. They're over here because I've moved. Hello, how's everybody doing? Apologies, I'm a little late starting because we were waiting on one of our players. Telfin, good to see you. Of course, Mon and Tyrope, 2 of the players are here. Fantastic. But yeah, hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and just dive right in and get started, so give me a second here. We're going to go ahead and just get things rolling. Hello, guys.
They see me rolling.
Yep. Okay. Melon, you here, bud? Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
You got
Present.
you have your noms?
Yes.
Okay.
I read to get chicken nuggies.
Oh, of course, got to have the nuggies. One cannot adventure in Dungeons and Dragons without nuggies. That's, I mean, come on.
Never.
One
never.
does not simply nuggyless. Cool. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully, you guys had a good 2 weeks since the last session. I know I'm excited. I didn't have time to do a lot of prep, but thankfully, I had a lot of this pre-prepped because we didn't get as far last time as I had hoped. So we should be good. Kind of worked out to my benefit. But this is the first game in the new space, so can't really see it, but it's behind me. But we're just going to go ahead and get started. Do you guys need a couple of minutes to get yourself situated, or is everybody pretty much good and ready to start?
Nope.
Chilling.
We chilling?
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
Sweet. All right. Let's just go ahead and get ourselves ready to go here. Let me get the right music. Strange. That's a strange sound. What is that? Oh, someone's mic sounded like it was being scratched around a bit. I was just curious what it was.
Oh, that might have been mine. My bad.
All good.
I'm back.
All right. Welcome back.
I have ads.
You have ads. How dare you have ads?
Yeah, no, not anymore.
How dare you not be a subscriber to Neon?
He used to be.
In this economy?
Bro, especially with them raising prices. Ain't that a fact?
Yeah, it went up $1.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But that's America. I think Canadian dollars didn't change.
Oh,
That's
good.
why I use Prime.
Yada yada.
Did
Prime
you know
plug, yada,
with
yada.
Amazon Prime, you get free Twitch Prime where you can sub to one channel for free every month, every 30 days. But it doesn't
I
do
have
it
an email for
automatically, so you have to make sure to remember. It doesn't have
There
to
you
be
go.
here. You can use it
I
anywhere.
swear I'm not advertised by. I'm not sponsored by Amazon.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's fix Dax
Also,
real quick.
you want to know
I
why
want to
Canadian
be. Give me
dollars
the
didn't go
Bezos
up?
bucks.
Because they went up in February.
You really want
did
Bezos'
they?
bucks though?
I want his money.
Bro, I want his money.
I don't
guess-
care
yeah,
where it
I-
comes
Look,
from at
I
this
guess
point.
that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
At
you
this
kidding?
rate, I'll just take his pocket change, to be fair.
Yeah, whatever he's just got on him, just like a
I'll
couple
take his
easy
po- I'll
a couple easy hundos.
I'll take his pocket lint.
Jeez. All right, real
Pocket
quick.
lint's got to be worth something.
Actually, you know what? You could probably put it on eBay. Real quick, just to make sure everything's working properly, can everybody in Roll20 just, if they've, in Roll20, can you just roll me a roll? I want to make sure that my overlay is working properly. I don't care what it is, just any roll. Oh, okay, I see a dice. And I see things that are acting weird. Yep, this is why we test things.
Now, the real question is, does my roll on Beyond translate?
It should. They just pushed an update for it, so it should.
Wait, we doing roll 20
They did not.
or
We're
D&D
doing
Beyond?
we're doing roll 20, but if you want to do it from your character sheet on D&D Beyond, it should still work.
Okay.
So you
mine
should
didn't,
be fine.
so I don't know what's going on.
I'm gonna.
I'm
I
just
don't know
trying
why
to
it's
fix
worked for me.
overlay stuffs real quick, but it should be.
I'm gonna do a.
Okay, my Beyond 20 still working.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
-2.
If it's
Why is
not,
mine not?
well, make sure that it's updated, Jesse. If you need to open
Almost
the
special.
Chrome store and like reinstall the plugin, it should function because they D&D Beyond pushed an update on the 5th. It broke things. He pushed an update shortly after to try to fix things. So it auto updated for me when I opened D&D Beyond, but it's possible that you may need to manually like force an update on the plugin. So
I mean, where do I go to do that?
it's through the Chrome store. It's an add-on.
Well, let's see if I even have that option.
Yeah, if
Because
not,
I'm
you
not
may,
on Google
if
Chrome.
it doesn't work, you may just have to like remove the plugin and re-add it, and you should be fine.
That's the thing. I
I
never
think-
had it in the first place, but like my first
Oh.
couple of rolls worked in roll 20, and then they
I
just
gotcha.
didn't.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, again, it's not the biggest deal. If you want to do it through Roll20, you can. You can just do manual rolls. You can do physical dice and tell me what the results are. I'm totally good with it. Because I'm going to be using physical dice mostly for my stuff, just because it's easier. Because I don't have everything built out in Roll20 or in D&D Beyond for all like the monsters and stuff. So I just literally have a sheet pulled up in front of me. I roll the dice. I do the math, and that's the end of it. So
I can't
Unsaved.
math.
I mean, I barely math. Like,
I have
1 + 1, go.
I have computers that can do the math for me.
I mean, I have a calculator,
Exactly.
so I'm not.
That's all
actually
the
doing
computers
math.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I do need to get a physical dice out.
I would recommend physical dice. It's always a good backup.
I just need a.
I'm too
Where did I put
poor.
mine?
You have the ability to afford physical dice in this economy?
Well, I bought mine a while ago, so
Okay, well, I didn't.
it's been a minute. Why are those dice still on screen? That's interesting.
You have to click the screen to get it to go away.
Ah, Barrymore, thank you for the resub, my dude. I appreciate you for 52 months.
What are
Gotta love it.
death saves? Are they d20s?
Yeah, they are. Death saves are
Yeah.
D20s. Yes.
All right, now I just gotta figure out which hole the d20s are in.
I am so proud of myself. I actually know some things. It's wonderful. Okay.
Going with Loki
Happens
today.
sometimes.
Okay.
Is
Oh, that's a-
everybody good? Everyone have dice? Everyone good to go?
Yes.
I can't find the extensions in this browser, but yeah, I'm good to go.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know where it is because I'm using Opera GX and I don't remember where everything is because I don't
Well, you
tinker
shouldn't
with
need
it
to
that
access
often.
it as long as you have Roll20. As long as it's
Oh,
installed and you have
there we
roll.
go.
Yeah, as long as you have Roll20 and a character sheet open through D&D Beyond, it automatically recognizes it. You shouldn't have to do like any manual things there beyond just the update.
And yet it still doesn't register, so I don't.
Oh my
eh,
Open
Okay.
your character
I don't
sheet
know.
first, and then open Roll20. So close Roll20, and then keep your character sheet
I'll
up.
see. Even better.
We
I mean, worst
love-
comes to worst, I'll keep doing the same thing I did last session, which is just rolling beyond and then say what it is.
Yeah, even if you want to roll physical dice and tell me, I'm totally good with that. I trust you guys. I'm not worried about this at
Yeah.
all. It's just if you want to use the digital version, it's there. It's visible on stream. That's up to you guys. But that being said, I think we're good to go now, right?
See.
Okay.
We love issues.
We love technical issues. Once I move to Foundry, this all goes away. It's going to be fantastic, but this is going to have to wait. I just had to buy my fiance's wedding band, and heck, there goes the money I was going to use to buy Foundry. So, hey, priorities. All right. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully.
All right. So,
Oh, I just noticed that.
yeah, something like to share with the class.
Oh, no, I did a whisper to GM in Roll20 to say something to chat, but chat's view isn't in GM mode, so
No,
since
it's
we
not.
They don't get to know either.
Nope, I have GM mode on a different computer entirely. But he said, for the record, chat, he says you're all pretty. So there you go.
That was supposed to be a secret.
Not anymore. Okay. Last we left off, our party had been along the riverfront of the river city of Duruun, which is located in the lost continent of Adalia. The party was not yet united. We had young Dax, who was walking along the riverfront and had been lulled into a tavern by some melodic music, where she unwittingly sat down at a table next to a sorcerer who was looking on at a bard that was sitting on the stage playing music that was just drawing people in a magical way. Just down the street, there was a young man who was just exploring the town when something caught his eye, and he found himself in an alley speaking with a very strange little owl who was looking for shinies and was suddenly set upon by an individual with a razor-sharp rapier who was defending his owner's back alley. And with almost no warning, the party was thrown together to fight a gigantic river monster, a serpent that had lunged out of the water and consumed multiple townsfolk right there on the waterfront. And without taking a scratch, all 6 of the party members were able to vanquish the gigantic river serpent and save the townsfolk from any further damage. And were actually able, through some wild and crazy miraculous medicine, to pull one of the few survivors from the belly of this beast, despite the fact he was now traumatized at the loss of his betrothed. Didn't catch his name and left him to drink his sorrows away in the Lucky Tankard Tavern, where they were then approached by a seemingly innocent little gnome who the tiefling rogue decided needed to be punted 5 feet across the street into a barrel. And then after dusting himself off and believing the lie from Daxori that it was an honest mistake, was then led the party through the streets of Riverside, the district there on the waterfront, deep into this district and into a seemingly dead-end alley. And then as the group was perplexed at the fact they were in this dark and damp dead-end alley, a secret door was revealed, and the party was led through this stonework hallway into a very lavish and comfortable, dimly lit den with very nice tapestries and carpets and organized libraries all around, a catwalk up above with a wooden banister that goes around it. Off on one side, you could see some sort of study or office with some dim light coming out of it. And then off to the other side was some sort of bedroom area. But in the center, where you are currently finding yourselves as a group, you are now standing in this carpeted, low-lit, den-like area that has a roaring fireplace that is the only source of light in the room. There are some plush seating arrangements, such as sofas, and there's a nice, good, large chair with sort of a green velvet-like material that is holding the individual that has just revealed himself to you, that came out and has not introduced himself yet, but has claimed to be Spitwick's employer, and he has offered to give you some work. And this is where we find ourselves and where we continue tonight's session. As the party has entered the room and has started to gather around the fireplace area where this very tall, pale-skinned tiefling with purple horns and purple vestments has sat down and is sitting back against the chair with one leg propped up on the other, and his fingers kind of in that "you're wondering why I've brought you here" pose, with like all the fingers touching each other in kind of a triangular shape. And he's leaning back on his elbows, and he's looking around at you, and he's just basically said that he has some employment opportunity. And as these words have left his mouth, he kind of squints a little bit and glances around at all of your faces, and he realizes that in the same way he doesn't know who you are, he recognizes you don't know who each other are yet. He realizes that this is a group of individuals who are complete strangers to one another, and the only reason that they're here as a group is by sheer happenstance. And so he leans back a little bit, and he kind of dons a little smirk, and he clears his throat. Well, it would seem that I am a bit premature in my assumption that you already know each other. It seems that you all are strangers to one another, and I apologize if this is partially my fault. And he kind of looks over at Spitwick, and Spitwick just kind of shrugs and goes, looks back at the group. Please, not only for my sake, but for those around you, why don't you do us the pleasure of introducing yourself and letting us know who you are, so I may have a better understanding of what you might bring to the table for this employment that you're welcome to dismiss, but would pay handsomely. And he kind of looks around the room, and he kind of ends his gaze on Basil, who would be kind of off to his right. So Basil, you're kind of standing a little bit to the left of one of the sofa areas. Whether you've sat down or not is up to you, but you see him, and he is standing in front of you off to the right, and he is to the right of the fireplace. He's not directly in front of it, and there is obviously a lot of seating with plush carpeting and everything, so there's plenty of comfortable area to sit. But he is off to the right of it, and he's kind of looking at you. And he doesn't look intimidating. He looks determined. He looks like he's trying to really study you and get to know who you are.
I take it that's my cue to introduce myself.
Yeah, he's like, and he kind of like, he kind of takes one hand off the other and kind of does that little like go on motion.
My name is Basil. I don't know what else you would want to know of me, so...
Well,
great. This is great.
What brings you to Duruun? I mean, you are all on the riverfront, so I can only assume that most of you are new to this area, since most travelers and passer-throughs usually find themselves there, at least at the beginning of their journey.
I've been here for work, along the docks, loading, unloading, whatever really gets me coin in my pocket.
He nods a few times and kind of looks pleased and, well, I respect that. And good hard day's work for a good hard day's pay, I would assume. He glances over, satisfied that Basil's kind of introduced himself a little bit, and he just kind of scans, and his gaze finally ends on Othwin, the little owl, and he looks at her and kind of, because if I'm not mistaken, she's on top of the coffee table where the magnifying glass used to be, but is now currently in Talina's bag, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe that was what happened at the end of last session.
Yes.
Okay, so he looks. He kind of, his gaze kind of ends at the coffee table, realizing the very faint little impression of where because things probably never got used. So he can kind of see where the magnifying glass used to be, and he kind of dons a tiny smirk and raises one of his eyebrows. And remember, this is a tiefling, so he just has these purple eyes with no pupils or corneas, just purple eyes. And he's just kind of like grinning and smirking at you a little bit, and goes, "And who might you be, my little friend?"
with a head tilt, kind of like, turning the head around, like almost like an owl. Because she's not really facing him.
Mm-hmm.
She tilts her head, studies him, and she's Axelman.
Offwin, well, it's a pleasure. And he kind of tilts his head to mimic her head movement a little bit. And he just kind of smirks a little bit. And he glances at the spot where the magnifying glass used to be. And he looks at her. And he says, I take it you like things of a sparkly, shiny nature, yes?
Shiny.
He grins and he just kind of like leans back, just like doesn't care that the magnifying glass is taken. And he says, well, what brings you to these shores? You don't strike me as an individual that's from around here.
You'll notice her two little finger feathers,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of go together in like a sad little innocent motion. Lost.
He frowns a little bit and, oh dear. Well, might have to remedy that. Do you know how you ended up here?
Shiny circle.
He reaches up and scratches his chin a little bit with the other hand. A shiny circle. Interesting. All right. Well, I'll have to look into that. That's a bit odd. And he kind of leans over a little bit to try to you know the thing that you do with birds where you kind of like run, like you curl your finger and you kind of run it across the top of their head because you don't want to actually pet them, but you kind of want to like stroke the back of their head a little bit. He kind of reaches in to do that, and he does so in a way of like if she's gonna allow him to like stroke her head a little bit, or if she's gonna like recoil.
Oh, she definitely lets him do it.
And
She makes these little cooing owl sounds.
so he kind of leans over and he strokes her head a little bit, and he smiles a little bit, and he goes, very well. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. And he leans back up against the chair again, and he kind of glances around the room, satisfied that he now has an understanding of who this cute little owl is, and he gazes around a little bit, and his vision ends on Merrick, who's kind of, I assume, kind of standing more in the back, or would he be standing or sitting or anything? Where would Merrick be in the room at this point?
He would be a bit more in the back. His expression, or I don't know how to put this, but like he wouldn't necessarily be disinterested in what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of like, I don't know if this is worth my time mood.
Sure, yeah.
And it would translate a little bit in his body language.
Like he's almost like just his body language show kind of disinterest and kind of standoffish, I assume.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So the tiefling kind of notices this, and he kind of gives him a little bit of a once-over and says, you don't care about coin, do you?
Not at all.
You're after something else. You're after... And he watches his eyes. Again, no pupils, so it's kind of weird the way the tiefling eyes kind of move, but you can tell that he's giving you kind of the up and down, the once-over. You're after knowledge, aren't you?
Merrick's not going to necessarily respond verbally, but he will kind of give this... Not evil, but kind of smirks knowingly. Kind of, you got it.
And he gets a very similar look in return from the tiefling, almost a match of the facial expression. And the tiefling leans back a bit, and he kind of moves his arms out to both sides of his elbows, resting on the arm of the chair. And to all of because the entire room that you guys are standing in, you notice that the walls are pretty much all bookshelves from floor to ceiling, and it's about a 2-story tall ceiling, and it's nothing but books in this entire room. And then the room next to you, same thing. One of the rooms next to you, you see that the office, again, books. And he kind of motions with his arms, goes, well, if it's after knowledge you're after, I believe I can accommodate. And if it isn't found here, believe me, I can know where to find it in this city.
In that case, name is Alexander. You have my full attention.
The tiefling gives him a very respectful nod. And what brings you to this city, Alexander? How did you come to be on these shores?
It's like you said. I seek knowledge, and the latest thread led me here.
Very well. Have you been before? I mean, have you been to University Row yet? Have you been further into the city, or have you not ventured that far in yet?
Let's just say I was not satisfied with what I found.
Very well, I don't fault you there. The pompous pricks at the universities aren't one for sharing knowledge to those who don't have the coin anyways, or the stature. And he looks a little disgusted and kind of turns his nose up a little bit at them. Just talking about University Row kind of gives him just a ugh sort of vibe. And so kind of satisfied that he's gotten the answers that he needs from Alexander, he kind of glances around again and he sees Talina. Where would Talina be in the room? Would she be sitting? Would she be standing?
She'd be sitting probably at the within the fireplace area, the one furthest from the fireplace.
Okay. So that would probably be the sofa. Let's probably a 3-seat sofa that's kind of the perfectly facing the fireplace, and then probably one of the most away seats. And he kind of glances at her and notices her, and he kind of cocks his head a little bit. You strike some familiarity with me. Or where is it from? And he snaps his finger and he kind of leans back with a look on his face of accomplishment. Says, "You're the bard from the lucky what was it? The tavern on the river." And he's trying so hard to get the name.
He just grins and waits for him to remember.
Oh, she's not gonna help him? Okay, so he's sitting there, he cannot get the last word, and Spitwick comes over and his little gnome elbow just right up against him. Tankard. Lucky Tankard. That's it, the Lucky Tankard. I was there not too long ago. You are quite the performer, my dear.
Practice makes perfect, as Dad always says.
That it does. Well, what, are you just here for traveling through to make coin with your talents, or are you here for some other purposes?
Well, if you've seen me, you should know that I've been here for at least a couple months now.
Oh, I know, but you're obviously not from around here. And he kind of glances her over a little bit, recognizing the fact that she does not match any of, dark elves are not common in Duruun by any stretch of the imagination.
I make home where home is, and home is here now. For now.
That I can understand.
To come back on something you said earlier, when you said partially your fault that we're all here, you wouldn't happen to be involved in some aquatic creatures doing violence, right?
No, you misunderstand. I meant it was partially my fault that you were brought here as swiftly as you were, and that there was there was an assumption that you were a band, a party together, that you were not just 6 random individuals that found themselves by sheer happenstance to be fighting these river monsters together. Spitwick, and he looks over at Spitwick, has made it seem that you were more united than you actually were. That was our fault. And he looks over at Spitwick, and Spitwick kind of gives the tiefling a little bit of a sort of face. But no, I had nothing to do with those beasts. It's not my forte.
Yeah, I want the insight check. His ass was.
You want to insight check him? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
My sus meter is going haywire. Natural 20 for a 22.
Okay. So first time we've had this as a party here. Because I haven't never done this. So I have 2 ways I want to do it. If people roll high enough on an insight check, I can just whisper you, and you alone get the answer. Or I can just give it to you and the party can hear it. What would you guys prefer? Would you guys prefer to have, if you roll it, you get the whisper? Or would you rather everybody just hears it?
For the sake of chat, if you do /W, Selena, in Roll20 chat, can chat see that?
We can test it.
Because
I have it open as a player,
then I'm
so.
okay with using that.
Quick, nobody look at Neon's screen.
I'm not.
I have it on my phone, but it's so small I can't read it. I have it open purely to see delay. Okay, it looks like chat can see it.
Chat can see it, yeah. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not worried about it. Not for this secret anyways.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
it's like one of those, if we want to have chat be involved as well, knowing those secrets, then you can whisper it there.
Yeah. So you get your answer to that. And but he sits there and he obviously looks very satisfied with his answer from Talina. And then he kind of leans back, and then his gaze slowly shifts over to Daxori, and he kind of gives her a little bit of a once over of all right, who's this one? That's the vibe you get from his face, and says, And you must be the one that sent my poor little gnome here for a tumble, yes?
Daxori would be towards the back of the room, leaning against the entrance,
Mhm.
and she picks her head up and looks at him. Her heterochromatic eyes staring him up and down. So, what does it matter?
And he
She says.
glances between Spitwick and her and says, "Did he offend you in some way?" He left out the details beyond the fact that he said the red one kicked him.
She looks down at her feet real quick, looks back up. It was an accident. I didn't mean to kick him. I thought he was something else.
Roll me a deception check. And I'll say with advantage because you already convinced Spitwick.
Okay. Alright.
He wasn't there. He wouldn't know.
Exactly. He wouldn't know, yeah. And so he's only getting the story from Spitwick. You have a +7 to deception?
Yes, we covered this last time.
I forgot. Dude, it's been 2 weeks. I forgot it. Holy crap. All right. Well, I'm glad we have a liar in the group.
Remember, you have advantage. You get to roll again for
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah,
27.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Whoa.
Oh,
I haven't seen that in a while. All right. 15's enough. That's fine. He believes you. He looks you over and he kind of smirks a little bit and looks at Spitwick. Says, "Sounds like an honest mistake, my man." And Spitwick just like harumphs and just kind of sits down, but it doesn't look, because he's a gnome, it just looks like he goes plop, like he just kind of flops over onto his butt. Like it doesn't look like he actually sits. It's kind of funny. Anyways, at this point, he leans back and says, "Well, now that you've all introduced yourselves, my name," and he kind of motions and says, "My name is Cassivus. I am a..." Oh my gosh. And he says this, and he realizes that he hears that, and he looks over and goes, "My apologies, my good man. Where are my manners? And you are?" And he motions to Grigor and looks like he's actually offended with himself that he did that, because Neon's offended with himself that he did that.
From further northwest.
Further north. How far northwest?
It's maybe over far.
Well, I mean, I know quite the many places far northwest, but I suppose it's up to you where you're actually from. It's your business. But what brings you to Duruun? What brings you this far south?
I just had an opportunity to leave and decided south was the best way to go.
Fair enough. And what is your name, my good man? Grigor, pleasure to meet you. We have Grigor, we have Alexander, we have Othwin, we have Basil. And then he kind of stops and he kind of realizes, he goes, "Wait a minute. You I know because I've seen you perform. Your name is Talina, yes?"
yes.
Yes, of course. But you, apologies, Spitwick just said you were the red one. I apologize for his bluntness. What was your name, my dear?
Daxori looks at him, kind of insulted that he didn't even ask what her name was.
That's fair.
and-
I mean, honestly, that's fair. Neon's the one who forgot, but that's fair. That's that. I can't even be mad.
But she knows in actuality, even if he had asked, she wasn't going to tell him. And all she says is, "You can refer to me as that."
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, as I was saying, and I apologize for my rudeness, my name is Cassivus. I'm a purveyor of sorts here in this town. I make my living on connecting people for things and things to people, or people to people. I made my way by, as I said, connecting things. So that's where I try to focus my efforts these days. That being said, the reason I brought you here was because I have some work I need doing, and I need a good group of people to do it. As of right now, I need to keep myself, how they say, on the down low. I've run into a bit of trouble with the guard here in town. Nothing too crazy, but enough that I cannot do most of the tasks I require of myself. That being said, it does pay well. I can pay you handsomely for your efforts. And it's not a very difficult task. In fact, it's quite simple. I just need someone who is willing to work for whatever we can come to an arrangement on that will follow through on it, and the ones that I can trust. And since I don't know you, the trust is waning. However, I've found that sometimes people you don't know are the ones you can actually trust, provided you compensate them properly. He kind of glances around the room at all of you guys, recognizing kind of who's after what. Like, he kind of knows, he's trying to kind of gauge and size you up as to what the reward needs to be for each of you to make it worth your while. Is there anything specific that I can help you with that would be a commensurate reward for such a task? And I'll get into the details here in a moment, but I want to get to know what it is that you're looking for, because if you're just after gold, of course I can facilitate that. We know that the gentleman here is after knowledge, the cute one here is after shinies, but is there anything that the rest of you need specifically that I might be able to accommodate? And he kind of looks at you, and he's genuinely curious. Like, you can see on the face, he's being serious. Like, he's not just trying to, like, placate you.
For me,
Sorry, go ahead.
He looks towards Grigor, who started to speak up. You might have to say it again, Grigor. We didn't hear you.
sounds good for me.
Well, all right. Money's always good. And then, ma'am, you had something as well, and he looks to Delina.
You have contacts. I can't speak on behalf of the others, but information sometimes worth more than gold, and I may have a question or two regarding some characters in town that you might know more of.
He grins, like, with just glee that someone had said that. He's like, I could not agree with you more. Information carries more value than gold these days. I promise you that. And he looks very pleased with that, and he kind of looks at you and he nods like, I believe we can come to an arrangement on that. Favors for favors is something I am very good with. Anyone else have any specific things they're after or looking for?
Basil will kind of stand upright. Not that he's very much tall, but stand upright from leaning against the sofa that he's next to and repeat employment.
He grins again, looking very pleased, like, I also like that. I'm always looking for good hands that can be relied upon when I have tasks that need doing, and I always have tasks that need doing. Rest assured, regardless of pay, if you do well, I will need repeat employment from you for sure. Of course, if you want it.
Basil will give a nod and go back to leaning against the sofa.
He continues to glance, just making sure that everybody's had an opportunity to speak up if they want. He kind of glances, because he's heard from several of you. He glances to Alexander, making sure he's good with the original thing of knowledge, making sure he doesn't want anything. And then he glances at Othwin, make sure she doesn't want anything, and Dax. So the three of you guys, he kind of gently and softly glances between the three of you to make sure that you guys aren't needing anything.
When he glances at Daxori, he would see that she is leaning against the door again, the entrance door, kind of reserved, keeping her mouth shut, not making eye contact. She has something she wants to say, but at the same time, she doesn't want to say it.
Interesting. Okay. And I would say, actually, hold on. I'm gonna roll. Give me a second, because I actually have a character sheet for him, because this is an old character of mine. So. Oh, I forgot. He's not great at this. Oh, it's also dark in my room. That doesn't help me. Oh, yeah, no. Okay. He rolled shit, so he wouldn't be able to know. He wouldn't be able to tell. So yeah, so with her being quiet, he continues to glance over to Alexander and Othwin, and unless they say anything, he'd probably lean back and look pretty satisfied with the results thus far.
Eric isn't really going to say anything.
Okay.
They're understanding each other perfectly this far.
Mm-hmm. And he glances over at Othwin on the table, and
Oh, she's not on the table anymore.
oh, she's not. Where is she moved?
She wandered off.
She wandered, like, she gone, or is she just wandered around the room?
She's currently lost in the room.
Okay, so she's just like, because the room is not massive. The room is probably about I'd say
I just want to comment that suddenly we just hear a stack of books tip over.
So I was gonna say, so the room is probably about 50 feet wide by about 30 feet deep. It's not a massive room. It's not very big. Actually, it's probably more like 40 feet wide by 30 feet deep. It's basically a little rectangle, but it's rounded. Like it feels like you're inside of it's, how do I explain this? So the roof is flat. It's not domed, but the walls are curved. So you feel like you're basically in like, as if two hourglasses have overlapped. So you have like these three bulbs, and then you have like these two little walkways that connect the three bulbs together, and you're in the center bulb. And the fireplace is actually kind of curved or anything like that. So if she's wandering around the room, the walls are just, for her height, literally floor to eternity, because she's so tiny, because it's only about 2.5 stories. But from the floor all the way to the ceiling is book-filled bookshelves. Like there's very little empty space in any of these bookshelves. There's not a lot of shinies in this room outside of the one she found on the coffee table. But that's basically the room. Now, the doorways to the other two rooms are open. They are not closed doors, but they are on opposite ends of the room, right and left of the fireplace, essentially. Has she just been kind of like wandering around this room, or has she wandered into the other rooms?
She's honestly, what she's doing is while she's wandering, she's picking up everything.
Okay. Well, they're
inspecting to see how shiny it is.
Okay.
And she just tosses them.
Let's do this. So go ahead and roll me, I guess an investigation check would be the closest thing for this particular thing. So go ahead and roll me an investigation check. Let's see what she can find.
Dirty
Holy 20. Lord. So 21.
Nope, it's a dirty 20. So 19 plus 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. 19 plus 1. Okay, I was reading that wrong. Okay. So, good grief. Okay, well, in that case, let's go ahead and say that she finds... let's do... You rolled a 20. Oh, geez. Okay. So, she has wandered around the room a little bit, and there's nothing really in the room. Like, the room is remarkably clean. Like, there's not a lot of baubles on the floor. There's not a lot of things that are out. It's basically the central sitting area where everybody's currently sitting or standing talking to Cassivus. There was the coffee table that she's now hopped off of and kind of fluttered around the room a little bit. And then there's the bookshelves. So more than likely, she would have been drawn over to a tome that is partially ajar from the bookshelf. It's not falling out. It's just not pushed all the way in. But the front of the tome would be very ornate and have gold and silver embossing on it. And it would be shiny. It would definitely draw her attention and be shiny. But it would basically be in relation to the room. If she's hopped off the coffee table and she's kind of fluttered around a bit, this would basically be from where the fireplace is. This would be directly out and to the left, to the basically to the right of the doorway that leads into the den, the office that he came out of when you first met him. And it would be like up against, it'd be in the bookshelf, so it's kind of up against the wall. Would she, I mean, obviously it's shiny. Would she go over to it?
Of course.
Okay. So at this point, when this is at the point where Cassivus is like looking to go over to look at Othwin and realizes she's no longer on the coffee table. And so he just kind of like glances around a little bit. But before he can find you, as you're going over to the book, do you try to remove it from the shelf?
Yes. She's seen the shiny. She wants the shiny.
So she's going to remove it, and all of a sudden, Othwin would feel a little hand like grab her wing, not aggressively, but grab her wing as she's reaching for the tome. And you'd look over, and it's Spitwick, and he's going, "What are you doing?" And he's holding your wing with his hand.
Shiny book. One shiny book.
Spitwick looks at the book. And goes, "Yes, it is shiny, but it's not yours. It's my master's book."
She uses her other hand to try to pry it off the shelf.
Spitwick. So the way I'm seeing this is that she used her left hand wing to go grab it. He grabs it with his right. So now she's using her right, which is just too far away from his left. So he's trying to reach to stop you, but he's not going to be able to do it from that angle. So go ahead and roll me a strength check to see if she can pull the tome off the wall.
No, God.
It's not a hard DC because it's a book.
Damn. 18.
Yeah, you can pull the book out of the bookshelf with your other wing, and you pull it out, and it's a standard tome. But how big is Othwin again? She's what, 2 feet tall?
Yes.
Okay, so this tome is probably about. I mean, it's not massive, but it's probably about 12 inches long by about, say, 8 inches wide. But like, she's not very strong as a creature, so she'd pull it out and it would just kind of fall on the ground. Because it's only probably about 2 shelves out, just falls on the ground. And yeah, sure enough, the top of it is very shiny with embossing and everything. And Spitwick is like, really? And so he lets go of you and he goes to grab the tome to put it back on the shelf. And this is when Cassidy goes, "What's going on over there?" And you hear him kind of not standing, but kind of like half standing out of his chair to kind of look over the edge of the sofa in the direction of where you guys are.
Don't leave shinies in the out in the open near that one.
Technically speaking, it was on the bookshelf. It wasn't out in the open. It is now. And he doesn't look upset or anything, but he's looking over down at the tome. He's like, "Spitwick, would you please put that back? Orthwin, my dear, would you kindly leave my books alone? I would appreciate it."
She's gonna poof up as the book. She got told no.
Uh-huh. Oh, so like she fluffs her feathers up?
Yes.
He's
She's
like-
frustrated.
He tries not to laugh as he looks at this, and he's like, "Oh, well, how about this? Come back over here, and I'll tell you of the job that will give you lots of shinies, and we'll leave my books alone. Does that sound fair?"
She waddles over, following these humans and humanoids. She notices they don't hop like she used to, like she's used to. So now she's taken upon herself to try to walk.
Does she still have her feathers poofed up?
Yes, she is still poofed up, a very frustrated owl, and she's waddling like a penguin.
We need that gif of we had last week of the owl fluffing his feathers, but we just need like walking. That's hilarious. Okay, so
I may or may not have been looking for one.
perfect. Yeah, Cassivus sees this and he can't help but snicker to himself, and like he just sees this very cute little owl that's just all frustrated, and oh my gosh, that walk is perfect. And walking over, and then he actually reaches down to help her up onto the table, because it's a coffee table, so it's about probably 16 inches off the ground. He kind of holds his hand out to see if she wants help getting on the table.
She'll stubbornly flutter her way up there.
And he just kind of recoils his hand and says, "Very well then." And he doesn't look upset. He looks like he's trying not to laugh at everything. Anyways, he sits back down and he looks at everybody and says, "Very well. Now that we've established what you're all after, let me explain what I need." And he takes a deep breath and he kind of steadies himself in the chair a little bit and says, "An associate of mine down at the docks is a designer of sorts. He is a master craftsman. He has developed the plans, schematics, for a ship, or a vessel for the river, and presumably for the ocean, that is supposedly supposed to be the fastest vessel that will sail these waters. I don't know how he's done it or how he claims to have done it, but he claims that this new design will be one of the best ships ever built. He is worried, as am I, that the designs for this will be taken into the hands of anyone else who will use them for their needs, rather than him being able to use it to increase commerce, increase his business, and presumably increase mine." He says, kind of leaning over a little bit, like kind of cheeky, like also my business. "And all in all, I would like to make sure that these plans do not fall into the wrong hands. That being said, I want them here. I want them here in my den. Now, the problem is, the individual that I'm associated with and I had a bit of a minor falling out recently. Nothing egregious, nothing, of course, nefarious, just he's not exactly happy with me right now, and I can't go down there and ask him for these things because, well, he'd think I'm stealing them. Which I'm not, I'm just protecting them for both of us. What I need is a group of individuals to go down and make sure that the plans can be retrieved safely and brought back here where they can be safe and secure here in this secret den where people don't know it exists. The problem, that's the problem. As of right now, I've not received word that the schematics are complete. He is still finishing them up and wrapping them up. He has told me he will let me know when they're done so that I am aware so that I can broker a sale for the first ship. When that happens is when I will need you to go down and collect them and bring them here. He may not be the most thrilled with this at the beginning, but he'll understand it's for the benefit of everyone. He knows he can trust me, even though he's upset at me right now. And the fact of the matter is that everyone will benefit from this in the end. Plans come here, I will keep them safe, you will get paid for your very, earnest efforts, and we can move forward with any sort of future employment, as he motions to Basil, if you so wish, or knowledge you may be after, as he mentions to Alexander, or whatever it is that you may require. I'm sure I can set you up with what you need. As you see, it's a very simple task. It doesn't require much. It's just currently, with my current position, as well as the tentative, tenuous relationship I have with my associate right now, I just need someone else to do it. Does this make sense? And he kind of like looks around at all of you to see if you guys understand what he's asking.
So, to put it plainly, as you have a habit of speaking in double words,
He kind of smirks a little bit.
and since we're all adults here, I'll just make it plainly as she gives a side eye to Athvin, who clearly hasn't fully reached adulthood given her tendencies. No offense. You need us to steal a blueprint that is not yet finished from somebody who knows you want it, to sell it to a third party.
Well, not the plans. Neither myself or the associate are selling the plans. The original arrangement between me and my associate was to broker the sale of the first ship based on these schematics. The idea was he was going to develop this ship. I was going to broker the sale of the ships to individuals that needed them, and we were going to make a lot of money. The problem is that him and I are not on the best terms right now, for starters. And second, we've received whispers that other individuals have heard about these schematics and want to remove the middlemen, i.e. me and him, and just make the ships themselves, which neither him nor I would prefer. So no, I don't want you to steal them. I just need you to bring them here. He doesn't trust me right now, even though for his best safety, I'm assuming for the plan's safety and security, as well as our future financial security, it would make the most sense to have them here instead of at his shipwright on the dock, where there's no security and pretty much anyone who wants can just wander in and take them.
We're taking something against his permission and relocating it here. That's theft, whether you want to call it that or not. I'm not saying you're doing it in bad intentions. I'm just saying let's speak cleanly.
Cassivus smirks a little bit and he leans forward. He's like, well, the original intention was not to steal anything. Now, if he's going to be a bit of a butt about it and refuse to hand them over, then maybe yes, you'll have to steal them. End of the day, I need you to get the plans by whatever needs to happen, whatever means necessary, without killing the man. He is an associate of mine, and bring them here so they can be protected. You'll be paid for your efforts. That's that.
Would it be too much to ask what the drama is?
Well, before we even get to that, Dexoria butts in.
Mm-hmm.
Won't it even worsen y'all's relationship if he somehow finds out that you're the one that sent us to steal them?
Well, like I said, if you actually have to steal them, I'll deal with that later. My hope is that you won't have to steal them. My hope is that you can convince him to just hand them over and bring them here, because at the end of the day, he can't sell his ships without me. He only makes them.
Unless we tell him we're coming because you sent us, he's not going to hand his plans willingly over to us, especially if they are worth as much as you say they are.
That's true. So if you need to, as I said, apologies. That is true. At the end of the day, like I say, we are associates, and here now he's upset with me, but I believe, all things considered, that if you do tell him that I've sent you, my hope is that he will understand the situation and everything will be fine, and he'll let you bring them. He'll let you either bring them here or he'll accompany them here, one of the two.
As long as we have established that we will be telling him you sent us.
Yes, that is fine. As I
think
said,
it's
we are
preferable that he
associates.
stays alive.
And he kind of looks a little frustrated. Like, the falling out I had with him is minor. It was, I may or may not have slighted him slightly in a game of cards and a game of chance and taken a chunk of his money. That's it. And no one was hurt. No one was killed. It was just a simple situation of I may have beat him in a game of chance and he thinks I may have cheated. It's that simple.
A bit of gambler's grudge. You just should have started with that instead of calling it a minor altercation. I thought you fought the guy.
No,
You know,
no, no,
fisticuffs.
no, nothing that nefarious. It was simply just the misunderstanding. And the way he says it, it's dripping with like it's not a misunderstanding. He clearly cheated. Like it's very like everyone. Like I'm not even gonna make you roll insight. Everyone in this room who's paying attention knows this guy cheated.
I knew from the get-go he cheated. I wasn't gonna question
Yeah,
it because you play to win in some of those games, honestly.
Yeah.
But Basil will chime in again. Does he know what type of threats might be coming his way? We could just push that they are imminently in the city.
Honestly, they are in the city. I just don't know exactly who. I've heard whispers through my connections that certain individuals have heard about these plans and taken interest in them and want to get their hands on them before it goes to market so that they don't have to pay top pricing, top dollar for these ships, that they can just manufacture themselves and either undercut the competition or just manufacture and keep the plans out of themselves and not sell them at all. And if he's going to make money for the time and effort he put into designing the schematics, and I'm going to get my commission, we need to make sure that doesn't happen. And so I do know that there are elements in the city that are after them. I'm just not 100% sure on who or when.
It sounds like we're wasting time and precious moments then arguing over this.
Yes and no. Although I understand and agree, I'd prefer not to argue. It's a simple task. The plans should be... I'm waiting for a courier to send a missive telling me that they've been completed. He was wrapping up the final components. So there is a little bit of time. If you need to prepare anything, or if you need to run any sort of things here in town, my assumption is they should be complete either by this evening or in the morning. And mind you, at this point, it's probably about... Because let's see, you fought the beast at about noon. It's probably like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon at this point. So it's like not quite evening, like end of the afternoon. So if you'd like, you are welcome to... if this is something that you are willing to take on, you're welcome to spend a little bit of time in the Riverside District and wait for the message from my associate and head over there this evening, if you wish, or you can wait till the morning and check in the morning. But it is up to you what you feel is best. We can either going this evening or going in the morning.
Do you have some parchment and a quill, pen, whichever you have?
Elena just reaches into her bag. I have pen and paper. Well, I have ink and paper.
Not even looking, I just kind of hold out my hand.
Very well. I was going to check my desk, but yes, thank you, Mr. Lena.
I'll hand her my ink pen and a single sheet of paper.
Hand who?
Who are you handing? Are you handing it to Basil?
Yeah, to Basil.
Okay.
Hand him Basil. Okay. All Basil is going to do is write down the room of which he resides at and go over and present it to God, I can't even remember the name of the guy. Cassivus. He's going to hand it to Cassivus and say, "This is my room. Send your courier or whatever message you need to there."
He takes it and looks at it. Okay. And out of curiosity, did you establish where you wanted to stay, or you told me to just pick something for you?
Pick something probably more eastwards of the original fight location.
Eastwards? Let's see here.
Because on the original map, it was faced so that north was basically to the left.
I fixed it though. The new one north is up top.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's staying.
We are kind of eastward.
So he's staying he's staying in the dock area though, or is he staying like further inland a little bit in Riverside?
Whichever would have moderate quality lodging for like workers lodging.
Sure.
Almost.
Okay. I will have to come up with something real quick, but I can do that. I'm sure I can do that. Okay. I'll work on that in a minute. But he takes it from you, looks at it, acknowledges it very well. Do you, the rest of you, how would you prefer I translate this to you? Would you prefer I send a courier, or would you prefer to come back and check this evening?
I don't suppose you have anybody who knows sending?
Actually, he looks at Spitwick and he kind of rolls his eyes. I can take care of that.
I mean, you've seen my face, you know my name. Just send me a message.
Spitwick nods.
Daxor-
Oh, go ahead.
Daxori looks at him and then looks at Spitwick. Send this one.
Spitwick's eyes get kind of big for a second, and Cassavus is trying not to laugh. Like, he grins and looks very well, and Spitwick looks up at him and with that face of, "Are you kidding me?" He says, "Of course, yes, Spitwick. He can come and collect you."
And if it's if it's not to hold on, I'm trying to find words. If it's not to the detriment of the others, I would prefer we do the meeting after sundown or before sunrise in the morning.
Very well.
It's just, and she just like roughly gestures at her eyes and goes back to fiddling with her papers.
Cassavus
that are
nods
mostly
in understanding what she's referring to. Ah, of course. Well, I mean, the evening is obviously perfectly suitable. You can go this evening. In that case, I would say, and he kind of like, there's one like window that's way up high on one side that's letting in just a little bit of light, and it's very dim, so it's clearly not like the best for him. It's always hard to tell the time in here. I'm sure you have several hours until nightfall if you wish to wait till then. If you need to go do anything about town, now would be the time to do it, and then I can send Spitwick here to collect you and let you know that the plans have been completed and where you may go collect them. Sorry, I just saw the gift that Shadow posted. I love the relationship between Dax and Spitwick already. It makes me happy. But yeah, so he leans back and he's like, any other questions I can answer for you? Are you willing to accept this task? Are you willing to do this for me?
I don't see why
What's
not.
the name of your associate?
The associate's name is Keeg Grims. He's a shipwright down at the docks.
Can I get a spell check on that, dear DM?
Keig, and then Grims, or Grimes, Grimes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and he works at the shipwright that he owns down at the west docks. So not too far west from where you all encountered the serpent earlier today. But it's rather large building. So once I give you the location, it won't be difficult to find.
Now that you mention the serpent again,
Mm-hmm.
those wanting those plans wouldn't happen to be anyone involved in that serpent, would they?
I have no way of knowing. Honestly, the fact that the serpent was anywhere near town is quite alarming to begin with, let alone those creatures that seem to accompany it that you quickly scared off by the sound of it. I'm not actually 100% certain how those made it down here. Rumors had it those creatures are usually seen much farther to the north in Luthoon Lake, at most, and it's usually ghost stories to frighten children. The serpent that you encountered, I haven't heard stories or seen anything like that here in these parts in quite some time. My guess, if I had to take one, was it swam up river from the ocean, and due to the tides or currents or what have you, it found itself here and grew hungry. That's the only thing I can think of. But those particular serpents aren't known for these rivers, as the river's not that deep. But the harpies that you encountered, not known to these parts, but not out of the norm for the land, if that makes sense. But if you ever find out who or what brought those here, I'd be eager to know, because it's just a bit odd.
Well, whatever it is, if we encounter them again, we know we can deal with them.
Indeed. Sounds like they're quite frightened easily by the sound of it.
I'll just need to look in the general direction at this point.
I'm sorry, say that
Elena
again?
just nods and smiles.
I'll just need to look in their general direction at this point. As the
yeah.
5'6" smug, scrawny kid just says.
Cassivus kind of smirks a bit, and he's like, "Yes, that's what did it." Very well. Any other questions I may answer for you at this time?
He wasn't there. He didn't know.
No, I know, but Spitwick would have given him at least, the tidbits that he missed. So what you guys have kind of, for clarity's sake, you kind of have picked up on that Cassivus personally witnessed at least part of the fight, but did not witness the finale of it, and did not witness, obviously, firsthand Dax kicking Spitwick or anything like that. That part, all of what happened after he left, was relayed to him by Spitwick.
Lovely. Yep. Amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Actually, you have quite a few quiet, I want to say corners, but it's a round room. Don't suppose I can just wait here for a bit, maybe work on some music? It's nice and quiet in here. But great acoustics too.
He kind of has a look of he's not sure. Roll me a persuasion check. Let's see if you can convince him.
I have a +7 to that, so
What is with you people? Good grief!
You're asking the bard for a
could
social
roll a
check.
1.
+7 to persuasion, +7 to deception. I'm never gonna sneak anything past y'all.
8, 7, 15 total.
It was what total?
15.
Okay. He leans back, a little bit of a grin, says, "As much as I'd love to hear your music, I do have some things I need to attend to, and I'd rather not leave you in my study unattended. But maybe another time."
Fair enough.
Very well. If there's nothing else, Spitwick will come collect you when we've received word that the plans are complete, which should not be more than a couple of hours at this point. If you'd like, you're welcome to peruse around Riverside, and take advantage of any shops you may find, or if you need to purchase anything for your travels or anything like that. And then I will send Spitwick to collect you and take you to the shipwright, and that you may collect the plans from Keeg and return here. And he kind of stands up, and he does that a very gentlemanly version of the Midwestern whelp, where you slap your thighs and stand up, and he kind of just like very politely stands up a bit, tugs on his vestments a bit to straighten them off, and he starts to walk around the seating a little bit towards the front door that you guys came in through, and he very carefully opens it, but it's Dax is still standing there leaning against the door, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. She hasn't moved.
Yeah, so he walks over to the door, and he very carefully grasps the handle of the door and starts to open, but he's trying not to move Dax. He's trying to see if she'll move on her own. He doesn't want to, like, press her at all.
Yeah, no, she moves out of his way.
And he nods in appreciation. Like in the kind of that... You tell very quickly, like, this is very apparent to anybody who's paying attention. Actually, let me do it this way. Why don't everybody who's paying attention roll me an insight check? So if anyone is trying to notice this, they'll roll me an insight check.
I don't notice. 4.
Well, Dax apparently notices everything.
I'm a good liar.
I'm
good at intimidating.
Ooh, that's a good roll
I
for him.
notice everything.
I got a 12.
Okay.
Basil isn't paying much mind to it.
So Basil's
He's
not paying
basically gathering
attention.
his stuff.
Okay, so he's not paying attention. Alexander didn't notice. Lena didn't notice. What did Othwin roll?
You know, she's not paying attention at all.
She's not? Okay. So
There are shinies in the room.
in that case, Grigor and Dax, you guys would notice this. You guys can tell based on just how you're perceiving him, as well as now you're kind of getting kind of a closer look, that Cassivus may dress very fancy and speak very refined and kind of give an air of sophistication, but there's this subtle tinge of he's putting on a facade. You don't know for what reason. You don't know what kind of facade. You just can tell this probably isn't how he was brought up. He is trying very hard to portray himself as something he probably wasn't originally. Anyways.
The whelp and thigh slap didn't give it away.
I said he did that I didn't know. I said he did a very gentlemanly version where he places his hands on his legs and stands up and, like, you know, he didn't do the, oh, well, time to go there. Like, he didn't do that.
I mean, look at it this way. If Merrick, who's a noble, didn't notice that it's a facade, then he's doing a really good job at it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's very clear that he is he's been doing this for a while, but like with those kind of like insight rolls, you can tell he's probably putting on a bit of a facade, or at least one that he now believes is real. So anyways, he grabs the door, pulls it open a little bit, nods in appreciation to Dax, and kind of gives a very like soft kind of like motion for you guys to that it's time to take your leave. And he kind of motions to the hall that leads to the secret door that you guys came through.
As Selena gets up, she just scans the room for Athwin.
Yeah, where's Othwin at this point?
On the table where she fluttered back onto.
Okay, so now that Casavus has like done this, and everyone is kind of like being motioned to the door. He's not forcing anybody, but he's like very politely requesting that everybody go ahead and vacate. Does everybody take their leave, or does anybody stop? Anyone try to talk to him? Don't do anything else?
Nope.
No,
Heads out.
Basil would head out, probably following someone as he doesn't trigger the mechanism wrong for the door.
Dax would be the last one to leave.
Okay.
She doesn't like having people walk behind her.
Okay. So I just want to make sure everybody is going into the hall, like into the tunnel, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
making sure the owl is ahead of me because
Okay.
Oh,
wouldn't
and
want her to get lost again.
And Dax would look back. Is Spitwick still in the room?
Spitwick would be standing at the foot of Casavus when the door opens, and
Okay.
when the door closes, you notice Spitwick does not follow you into the tunnel. That the door closes, and you guys are now in between the wooden door that empties into the den and the contraption-based door that is the fake brick wall. And as soon as he closes the door, you hear it latch, and then you would all hear like a and then the false wall opens on its own, and you guys now can see into the alley that you entered in through.
Well, as Dax is passing them to leave, she would have given Spitwick a small little smirk. A small little smirk that she would try to hide, or only make it so that Spitwick could see.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Let me find his. 1 second. I had him pulled up. Here he is. Oh my gosh, I can never remember. What's perception based on again?
Vision, smelling.
So like,
It's perception is based off of wisdom.
Wisdom.
wisdom. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You asked a different question than the one I answered. My bad.
He rolled a nat 2 with a +1. He didn't even see it. Doesn't even see it.
He's too busy making sure your tail is.
Yeah,
cut
he's too
between
busy
the door.
making sure that he's out of kicking distance. That's basically where he's focused on.
Well, I mean, she's not going to kick him right in front of the guy.
He doesn't know that. He's just concerned about getting punted again. So, especially with his 2 roll, he just didn't see it. So, anyways, you guys enter into that room. You hear the door latch behind you. You hear the mechanisms all intertwine or whatever, and then the false wall opens, and you guys now find yourself coming out into the dimly lit alley that has like overhangs and stuff above it, which is why it's dimly lit. It's still daytime. Like I said, it's probably about probably around 3, maybe 4 o'clock at this point. Sun's still high. It's summertime, so the sun's not going to go down for a while. But at this point, you guys are now waiting for a courier or a message of some kind to come to you to let you know it's time to go over to the merchant. You guys, I understood you guys are going over at nighttime. You guys want to go before the sun goes down?
After
Probably,
the sun
yeah.
goes down.
Yeah,
I
let's
would-
say around nighttime.
Okay.
I would say more like, more duskish.
Duskish. Okay. So I mean, obviously that gives you several hours. So you guys have, as Matt Mercer would say, the city is yours. If you guys would like to explore a little bit for the next few hours, you're welcome to do that. If you'd like to go rest before this evening, you can do that. It's kind of up to you guys. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time between the quest giver and the quest to kind of explore a little bit if you'd like. It's up to you guys.
There
So
was something I was gonna mention.
Okay. What's up?
Gameplay wise, in the fact that rest, at least from my class, I don't know how the other classes were, but like from my class,
Mhm.
if it was rest to like regain spell slots, it would have to be 8 hours.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Take a long rest would be 8 hours, unless you're an elf, which case you get you can have that. I believe that's an elf. I'm not sure if it's all elves or specifically a certain kind of elf.
All elves and half elves, I believe, as well. But don't hold
Yeah.
me to that one. Can do it in 4. Yes.
You can take a short rest, which I believe is an hour. But it has to be an hour of uninterrupted, like you're not doing anything strenuous, and you have to basically roll for like health points and spell slots and stuff. Now, I don't know. This is where my lack of knowledge as a DM is coming in. I don't know what all you get back in a short rest. I will have to look that up, which I can do real quick.
So
I don't get
most-
anything out of a short rest.
You don't get anything? Okay. all
My
right.
character personally, yeah.
You generally don't get anything back from short rest except for able to use hit dice to regain hit points.
Okay.
The exception that is warlocks; they get their stuff back on short rests.
Okay. Cool.
Uh,
So
and
in
some
that
other
case,
like specific class things, like I believe the
Classes, some
fighters
items
can
give you
win.
bonuses to
sure,
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, you guys have options. So at this point, it's about 3 or 4 o'clock. If you guys want to go in the middle of the night, you could take a long rest right now and go in the dead of night, which you could do. You can try to take a short rest if you guys wanted to and just get some HP back. But since none of you guys took any hits, you guys don't need that. And you can go like right at sundown, or you guys can go against that and you can go in the morning, take an actual, you can explore for a bit, take a long rest overnight, and go first thing in the morning when the sun's still coming up. Mind you, I know that I'll say this, Talina's concern is obviously daylight. You guys are going to a building. I'm not going to give you details on that, but you are going to a building. So, but yeah, so you guys can discuss amongst yourselves whether in or out of character how you guys want to do it. But you guys are not locked in at a time of day that you need to go there. He was just basically giving you some options. But as soon as the courier comes to collect you, or if the courier comes to say that hey, it's ready, you'll be on some kind of a clock on when you need to go get it. But it's not. I'll say this: it's not a matter of like if you go, you have to go right when the courier comes to talk to you. I'll tell you guys that much. You guys have some options.
Yeah, so the moment Cassivus is outside of sight and earshot, Talina would like whisper towards Athwin, like, "Hey, the shiny? How do you want that? Do you want me to hold on to it? Do you need me to bring it somewhere?"
Athwin looks. It's in a bag, right?
Yeah, it's in my bag.
And she's gonna look at the bag. And then
You want it?
she's gonna waddle her way over, flutter up onto the bag, like clasp onto the bag. She's gonna open it and nestle inside the bag.
What do I have a pocket bird now?
You have a pocket bird right now.
That's hilarious.
As Athwin hops into the bag, you can hear a ringing of like glass things moving in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has some potions in there.
Okay.
Correction, she has a potion in there.
That's fun. I love it.
Well,
So yeah, I mean, as far as you guys are concerned, it's up to you on how you want to proceed. If you guys want to if you guys want to go exploring, if you guys want to go shopping, if you guys want to do anything, it's up to you. I just realized something though. Hold on. I overlooked something and it's my fault. Give me one moment. Where is the thing? Shoot, I can't find the table that I'm looking for. All right, well, something that I forgot to do is before you guys left, Cassivus would have given you a small pouch of like a down payment for your efforts. I literally in my head thought was like, I need to remember to do this, and I forgot. But as you guys have been walking out, he would have said something to the effect of, "Oh, by the way, just to ensure that you probably understand my position and that I am going to honor this agreement." He holds out a very small little leather pouch, like sort of thing, and you can hear that it has gold, and you can hear that it has currency inside of it. And he would have passed it to whoever went through the door first. So whoever walked into the tunnel first would have received the pouch. Who would have been first in line?
I mean, I mentioned I went towards the wall first. But I kind of stopped to let the mechanisms happen. So I don't know if that's actually who went first.
Do we
I
want to
mean,
roll?
given that Basil was at the door, it makes sense that you would follow Cassivus closer.
Okay, so Basil would have taken it?
Mm-hmm.
So Basil,
Sure.
when you open the satchel, whether it's out in the alleyway or in the tunnel, you would have opened it and you would have found 100 gold total for all of you guys to split as like a starting, like here's some starting money.
I do a quick head count. So that's when
6, which doesn't divide cleanly.
Well, here's the easy part. Is that 16 to each?
16 gold each.
Just
yeah. and that
just
would
do
leave
it.
Okay.
Just do that. Everybody gets 16 gold each.
Everybody gets 16.
Everybody gets 16 gold each.
Yeah, and Basil keeps whatever the last is.
Yeah, let's just say for the sake of ease, there was
For the sake of
exactly
math.
enough in the bag for everybody to receive 16 gold.
Basil a rich boy. I'm just gonna point that out.
There you go.
In
So, yeah, so you
comparison
guys
to
have-
everybody.
So you guys have a little bit of kind of kicking around money, and you guys have the ability to, you have a couple of hours to kill in town before you, at minimum, and city's yours. And if you have questions about if you're looking for something specific or if you want to explore something, just ask me and I will do my best to answer. Because I will be honest, we're still building this city, so I have like a layout, but like the things within the city, we will add things as we go. So if you have questions, ask.
So Basil would turn to the group and be on the account of, so we never actually celebrated our victory back there, and I don't know about any of you. I'm starved.
Well, I was going to head back to the tankard anyway.
I thought
Any
some of us
objections?
celebrated there. At least I did. The drink was good, but I don't mind going for more.
We might not want to go to the last place. They might still be recovering. I think I know another place on our way back to the riverfront.
I don't
You
care
think
where
a
we
bit of
go.
a scuffle at the docks is gonna keep Duruun from pouring ale?
I don't know.
I think.
But you have a point. He might celebrate us if we come back.
I thought you were referring to the guy that we left to wallow in his own pity.
Oh no! Did we catch his name?
No,
Doesn't matter.
no, we didn't.
Well,
Dexter
just-
would say, picking her head up, almost kind of like staring at y'all, like y'all are asses.
Look, I know the pain he's going through. Probably not as much, but he will get over it, or he'll get stronger for it, or he'll crush under the weight of it. There's only 3 options.
I think he's gonna crush under the weight from it, from how we left him.
I mean, Duruun's a good guy. But yeah, perhaps maybe an extra shoulder or 2 to cry on.
Dexter would kind of like raise her hand up and be like, wave it, and she's like, at the end of the day, I don't really care what happens to him. But still.
I'm not even questioning why you brought him up then. But yes, food, drink, anyone.
I brought him up because that's who I thought you were talking about. She kind of remarks back.
Well, to the tankard, and she just starts walking, trying
I
to
hear-
keep her shoulders as still as possible so that Athwin doesn't have a very bouncy trip.
So Talina, in that case, the particular area that you're in, you probably wouldn't be super familiar with this exact area, but you are familiar with the district. So roll me a survival check.
Would anybody have paid attention to the route we took to get here?
If you want to roll me a history check, for paying it. Actually, no. Not history. Let's do perception check for anyone that wants to see if they can remember how you got here.
I'll take survival because I don't have disadvantage on that one.
Okay.
I'll take this. I got a 10.
Basil, you don't really remember. It was a lot of twists and turns, and you kind of got turned around a few times because of Spitwick's just haste, and you
Wait a
don't remember
second.
how you got here.
I rolled a 17.
Did it
Mono got
roll?
21.
Wow.
I rolled a 15.
Grigor rolled exceedingly well. All right, so pretty much everybody except Basil, from the look of it. I don't see. I was like, Grigor did well. Talina did well.
Athwin's in the bag.
Athwin's. Oh, that's right. Athwin's in the bag, of course. Yeah.
Athwin doesn't really count. She's in the bag.
Grigor rolled a nat 20. So honestly, Talina, like, she kind of knows where she's going. She can kind of navigate. And you notice that Grigor is just like he's like on a rail. Like, he knows exactly where he's going with utter confidence. And he has he knows, he's like, oh, tankard, I know exactly how to get there. Boom. And he's just like, it's like a GPS route. And you guys make your way with minimal issues back to the dock. And we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break because Shadow needs to step away for a second. So you guys need to do a bio break, get something to snack, something to drink. Go ahead and do that. Like, quick 5 minutes.
Just
not
like
long.
me in real
The
life.
gifs.
I love that.
I love the gifs. Sorry, this doesn't make any sense in the Twitch chat or the YouTube
The
audience.
gifts are
but
adorable. I love
the
it.
gifs.
I love it.
That's why I would have rolled for it 100%. In real life, if I've been somewhere, if I walked somewhere, I know how to get there. I just know it now. So I would have rolled for that shit.
Yeah. It's fine. Let the dice play some part of the story, right?
Okay, and now that we're out of
Yeah.
there, we're gonna go ahead and do this.
Okay, I'll go and make sure that my place is still not on fire.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Are we still on live, by the way?
Mhm.
Okay. Making sure that our babbles are safe for stream. That way.
Yeah. And here we'll do this for a second. Let you guys take a quick break. Oh, on hold. That is awesome. That's good to know. Yeah, make sure you guys, for whoever's still here, make sure that if you guys have cool feats like that or cool things that are in your character's backstory or things like that build out the character, when these sort of things come up, please tell me, because like I don't want you guys to not be able to use the cool stuff that your characters have.
Yeah, no, mine's a downside, but it's fine.
No, yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
And honestly, the downside has a really good upside to it.
But it's
you
like a
know.
huge pro versus a huge con sort of deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I get drow magic, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I get superior dark vision, so I see 120 feet in darkness as opposed to 60.
Yeah.
And,
This is so
you know,
weird.
I can't go magically to sleep, which is lovely.
My stream manager on Twitch thinks that my bit rate is bad, and it's saying it's red, like it's unstable. But my stream has been nothing but fine. Like, it's saying average stream bit rate is too high. I'm like, I've literally changed nothing. Like, I've been streaming at 6,000 kilobytes per second since I started streaming years ago.
How do you get the stats for nerds up on the mobile app? I don't think you can.
No, it's just on the stream manager on the back end.
Well, there is on the viewer end. There's also a stats for nerds section.
That's cool. Didn't know that.
In the bottom left, it shows you your bitrate that you're receiving in case the viewer is having issues.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see how much bitrate's coming through.
Yeah, 100% on hold.
100%.
Grigor would have not only made the route quicker, but not only made the route, but it would have been more efficient. You guys would have gotten there probably a little bit quicker. So I would say it would probably taken you from where you were at. It probably took you about maybe 15 minutes of a walk, like not bad at all, to get from the alley you were in back to the riverfront, which we'll go through when everybody gets back.
Yeah, the bitrate is bouncing a bit, but it's not massively.
No, it's weird
over.
because like everything on my OBS is fine. I have not dropped any frames. I'm stable at my bitrate, all that jazz. But Twitch is like, your bitrate's too high. I'm like, is it though?
Yeah, it does bounce between 2.7 thou to like 7.1.
Yeah.
But that's play. That's not what you're streaming.
And I also forgot to hit record at the beginning too, so I'll do that next time. But I'll still kick it from Twitch into YouTube, and it'll be just fine. But I forgot to record it natively.
There's a setting to auto record when you stream.
There is.
No.
What I'm saying there is. I just got into the habit of never using it because it pretty much fried my laptop years ago when I did that, because I accidentally had that setting ticked, and I was doing a 24-hour stream, And so I was 8 hours into a Witcher 3 stream, and my entire PC locked up and auto shut down because I was at 100% CPU usage, and I had basically maxed out my scratch disk or my RAM, and it was not good. So I basically never used that setting again, even though I probably should have.
Fair.
Yup.
But like, aren't you streaming from the other computer?
I am, yes.
So it'd be safe to turn on this instance of OBS.
Correct, yes. Actually, I'm not even sure. I'm actually curious to test the recording function that I set up, because it would be sending it from one. The recording would be going from this computer to the other one, and I'm curious how that'll like translate. But I've never done that before.
You using a home group for it? Or
Yeah,
work
pretty
group
much.
or
Yeah,
whatever?
just a local network. But I'm using Cat 6 Ethernet cable. So I mean and I've got a I think it's a gigabit. I think it's a gigabit router too. So
It's your hard drive that's the throttle at this point, or your SSD.
yeah, it'll literally just be the SSD at this point. I think the rest of it would be fine.
So I took this opportunity to look at some of the meme channels I'm in, and this is a very mean text chain. Hi,
No, you're all good.
how's your girlfriend? I don't have a girlfriend. Haha, I know, just reminding you. Hi, how's your dad?
Wow.
Ooh.
Oof.
I remember that one. That's
That's just rude.
That is rude. All right? So I think everybody's back, right? We're all here.
Yes, and I've realized why I have been uncomfortable in my chair.
Why?
I forgot to wrap the body pillow around me to make an extra cushion.
There you go. All right. Oh, Monhold's still AFK.
Monhold
Okay.
is still.
No worries. No worries.
I'm eating cookies. I'm in no rush.
Yep, we're good.
What
In that case,
cookies?
I'm gonna do a quick bio break as well, because
for it.
I've been drinking a lot.
What cookies you eating?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Um,
They're kind of like the Christmas ones from IKEA, but better.
Wait,
Huh?
IKEA sells cookie. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I thought IKEA sold
IKEA
furniture.
Y'all don't know IKEA cookies?
No,
Y'all
they
been
the
missing out.
only food I've ever heard of IKEA is the Swedish meatballs.
Hold on.
They have I don't know if they have it in the States, but
I mean, they might.
back home they have a really nice cake, and they have some really nice cookies. And then these cookies I bought, I mean, these ones are not from IKEA, not
These
here. I think I found them in freaking
All right. Well,
not Walmart, one of the other stores, but like
just
in
ran out of
general, they
water, so
taste
I'll
like
be
the IKEA cookies.
Are you talking about these ones?
No, let me find them.
The only IKEA cookies I can find.
Also, if you have an IKEA nearby, they're also a great place to go for lunch. At least around here.
I'm not going to a furniture store for cookies or lunch.
I'm just
They're
saying.
like, is this a good picture? I don't remember because they probably changed the design a bit. They're like gingerbread cookies. That's what they're called.
oh, gingerbread
I don't like
cookies.
the
Yeah,
names.
okay. I love gingerbread cookies.
Yeah, but the reason I know them from IKEA is because we've been buying them from IKEA for forever, and they have like these heart or leaf
Huh.
design, and they have like a hole through them so you can put them on the Christmas tree, and,
Huh.
and then take it off and eat them.
Weird.
These
All right.
these are my favorite cookies. Hold on. These ones are so good.
Dude, Oreos slap. That's all I gotta say.
No, I'm not
Eh?
gonna I'm not gonna disagree with you, but these are my favorite.
I don't disagree, but I ate enough
disagree
Oreos to not want any more ever.
Yeah. You know, have you guys
They-
ever? Oh, those. Oh my gosh, those are your favorite? That's not even real frosting.
Yeah, it is. The ones
Ah.
the ones I get are real frosting.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody's back, so we'll go ahead and get back into this. But
For chat's reference, the most recent photo were those like generic super frosted sugar cookies
Yeah.
you find all over your local
like
stores.
every
They're
grocery
good.
store has them. Yeah.
They're so
They're
good.
not. I'm not saying they're not good. They're just very bad for you.
Oh yeah. Have you
So
guys ever
are
had?
Oreos?
Have you guys ever had Biscoff cookies? The kind you get like when you're on a
Mm.
flight and they give you the little pack of cookies.
Yes.
Never heard of them.
I
Yes.
found a massive box of them at Costco, and so I have a pantry full of Biscoff cookies, and I am happy.
Is it
I
the
have
proper
Kit Kat
Biscoff
bars.
brand?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, they're really good.
two things I miss.
Yeah, they are
from living
Telfin,
in the
yeah.
UK: Jaffa cakes and Biscoff cookies.
Yeah, dude, like I found a huge box of them. I've only finished one sleeve of them. There's 3 more in the box. Like,
You've
yeah.
just
Biscoff cookies
unlocked.
are also good.
You've just unlocked like a whole different part of my childhood memories when you said Jaffa cakes. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, I haven't had. Oh wow, yeah, that's back there. All right,
I'm addicted to the Jaffa cake.
let's go ahead and pick up where we were. So I'm going to do this just for the sake of everybody realize, like, being or like remembering where you all are. So you guys will actually be able to see the map here. So to give you guys kind of a general idea, I'm not going to give you specifics, but you guys were basically kind of in this sort of area, like this part of Riverside, when you guys met with Cassivus, and you guys have now made it back to the East Docks, which is where you guys fought the serpent, which would have been right about here. So it's not like this is not like super specific and accurate because it's just for the sake of like giving you general information. But the Lucky Tankard is essentially kind of along this shorefront, like front right here. That was weird. Everybody good in Discord? I saw people disappear. Yeah, basically right there. Yeah.
I was trying to share the pictures of the cookies I'm eating on the phone, and then I accidentally joined the channel through the phone because apparently you can't access the voice text channel on the phone.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
It's really awkward.
But you can only access it if you're in the voice chat. Like you have to be in the voice chat to do it.
I'll just post it in pictures and memes.
Yeah. So, anyways, you guys have made your way back to the Lucky Tankard. Grigor was able to successfully navigate you with Talina. Not only were you able to get back there successfully, but he got you back there in about 15 minutes because Grigor just knew exactly how to get there. So you're back to the Lucky Tankard, right there on the riverfront. It's only 15 minutes later, so it's probably at this point I'm gonna say it's 3:30 in the afternoon. Let's just say it's 3:30 in the afternoon. Sun's still high, weather's still nice. You can still hear the hustle and bustle of people wandering around. You can still hear the river flowing nearby. Like it's a gorgeous day. Are you guys going? You guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are going into the Lucky Tankard, right? You're going back there to drink.
Oh yeah, we're
celebrating a victory and
being a shoulder for what's his name.
Okay, yeah. So as you guys are getting back to the riverfront, area, you guys pass a couple different shops. You pass the shop that Grigor works at, and you can see that the door is open and that his employer, who Elria, is inside there, and you can see her bustling about, and you can see all the fancy trinkets and baubles and shinies she has in there. And then as you get to the Lucky Tankard, you guys can hear the hustle and bustle of people inside. And as you enter, you can see Duruun is back behind the bar, and he's cleaning out a tankard with a rag, and you can see some patrons that have now... The area now looks like the life has come back to it, and you realize the serpent's not there anymore. It's gone. There's a big gross spot on the ground where what's left of him is there, like some of his fluids are still on the ground, but the serpent is nowhere to be found. And as you guys get back into the to the tavern, you guys you're in the tavern. The patrons have returned, and you can hear chit chat, and Duruun sees you enter from across the room and gives you a big a dwarven just a hearty wave. He doesn't say anything, just kind of waves his arm and goes back to cleaning his tankard, and yeah, you guys are there. Are you guys looking for the individual that you guys left?
I just straight up asked Jordan where he is.
Oh, you
where's
asked
that I don't know his name. You know who I'm talking about. The guy from earlier.
The guy from earlier. Which? Oh, the fella that you left here to drink his worries away.
Don't put it that way, but yeah.
I mean, come on, lass. That's pretty much what you did. You dumped him here with a tankard full of ale and said, "Best luck," and then left. Not dodging on you. I'm just saying that's essentially what you did. Either way, the lad, and he kind of like leans up a little bit because he has to like hoist himself up on the edge with his arms. And he kind of looks around the room a little bit and kind of squints to try to see where he is. And goes, there he is. And he's now moved into one of the tables in the far back corner that's not near those open air large doorways that spill out onto the riverfront. He's kind of tucked back in a corner by himself at a table, and he very much looks like he has been drinking his troubles away for the better part of however long you've been gone.
Oof, that's been 3 hours ish.
It's been closer. It was more like it's probably been about from the time that you left to go speak with Cassivus, converse with him, and get back. It's probably been more close to an hour and a half to 2, not 3. But it's not been a couple of minutes. And it doesn't look like he's just been throwing them back. It looks more like he's been nursing them. So he looks like he's been drinking and he's had a few, but he's not like ready to just start vomiting and throwing up on and falling over on the floor.
Ronald also asked if there would be a noticeable increase of guards in the area.
So you would notice that there's been a couple more guards than there were before that are just patrolling up and down the riverfront, and the guards aren't giving you guys a second look. They don't really care. They're looking for trouble, and you guys don't look like it right now. I would say it's noticeable in that when you guys were here earlier, there were no guards. Now you've noticed a few, but only, I'd say, maybe since you guys got back to the riverfront and passed by the Glimmerwick Emporium and then over here at the Lucky Tankard, you probably have seen a total of maybe 6. And they're patrolling in pairs, and that's basically it. They're not harassing people. They're not like the guards here in Duruun are not known for like cruelty or for corruption. They're just guards. They just kind of do their thing, and as long as you don't break the laws or mess with them, they really won't mess with you. And a lot of them grew up here, and so they're part of the community, and so they kind of have a working relationship with different shopkeepers and different owners and whatnot. And so it's just kind of more of like a coexistence sort of deal, and they're going to do their job if they have to, but they're also, they're for the most part, most of the guards that you have either would have already interacted with or bumped into are pretty decent people. They're not usually too much of a problem.
Was it usual that there weren't that many guards to begin with, given that I'm basically here 3 days a week?
You would have noticed that it was... Go ahead. Well, no, I won't make you roll for that. I'd say it was a bit odd that the guards weren't there when it happened, but that sort of event is not known to happen on the riverfront. Like, that doesn't happen. So the issues the guards normally deal with are going to be like petty thieves. They're going to be dealing with like problems over in the central market, which is to the south of you guys, which is the main source of commerce in the area. That's where all of the really good shops, not good shops, that's where a lot of the normal shops are. So a lot of people travel to do their daily shopping or to find fun things. And so they're mostly going to be around that area. The guards that are typically going to be along this riverfront are most often going to be guards that are doing like ship checks. They're going to be making sure people's manifests are up to speed. They're going to be making sure that people aren't bringing things into the city they shouldn't. And so they're more like, they're not really like heavy armored guards. They're kind of more like clerical. Like they're just kind of there to like make sure everything is on the up and up.
Yeah, the more customs officers.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, they're going to be more customs officials around this area. And then like the occasional guard will wander through to make sure people aren't stealing, because there are shops along this area. But this area is not a high crime area. The criminal things are mostly going to be seen across the river in North Duruun, or they're going to be seen in the other areas of the city that are a little more affluent, where people can probably get a buck a little bit quicker.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, they're mall cops.
Yeah.
Fair. I'd grab one of my usuals from Durham and just walk over to the poor guy.
Okay.
Whose name I know I was out of character. I knew out of character, but never wrote down because yeah.
Well, actually, no one knew this character's name out of character. Nobody asked for it.
Right, we know his significant other's name.
Yes, you know his lover's name because he shouted it out when he came out of the belly of the beast. But nobody actually asked for his name, or nor did he introduce himself at any point because he was heartbroken. So I know his name, but none of you do.
It's fine. Basil's gonna avoid all that because he's already feeling the empathetic link right now, and he don't want any of it. But he will go up and order a meal for himself.
A meal? Okay.
A meal and find himself a seat because
okay.
he is starved.
So a meal here will run you 3 silver. and a drink. What would he order? Just something to like, just anything, or would he want something like nice?
Medium strength alcohol.
Okay. It would probably Duruun would probably
a fair mead or an ale or something.
Okay. He'd probably hand you his famous hill cider, which is what he offered to Merrick earlier, which would run you 8 copper.
So 8 copper and what else?
And 3 silver for the food.
Okay, and the just the regular box standard that Helena has.
Yeah, Telena would the drink. Would she just get the drink that she normally gets?
Yeah, just a regular run-of-the-mill ale. Nothing
Run-of-the-mill
too
ale. Okay, so that would just be. Oh, that's weird. I thought I have it written down for that, but that's the physical thing that holds it. That's weird. I would be. Well, we'll just say this. Regular ale is half the price of the cider because the cider is like a lot nicer. So it would be 4 copper.
4.
Yeah.
You said it was 8 copper and how many?
And 3 silver for the food.
Okay, I had to do math for my coin purse.
All good. All good.
Hmm.
Why can't I add a?
I just
There we go.
realized I voluntold Athwin to come with me because she's yet to crawl out of the bag. If Bird wants to leave back before
you basically
talking,
kidnapped Athwin with you.
I didn't.
No, she
She
jumped in
her own
willingly.
accord.
It was consensual. It's fine.
Not gonna lie, if you look in the back, she's passed the fuck out.
Aw.
Don't suffocate.
Oh. No,
Okay, so
it's the drawstring.
so it sounds like at this point we have Basils just getting something to eat and hanging out and drinking, but avoiding the individual in the back. Talina, you grabbed a drink, and did you head back to the individual? You said.
Yeah, I
Okay.
went back to Gunsthal.
What is let's see, Grigor, what are you doing when you showed up with the group? Are you sticking around here? Are you going back to check on your employer? Are you getting something to eat and drink? What are you doing?
We're gonna also get a meal and
Okay.
a drink. A
Okay.
very weak drink.
A weak drink? Okay, so then it'll be the 4 copper, and then it'll be the 3 silver for the food. And by the way, this food, this is a full meal. So like this is essentially like you're eating a full meal for the day. So you'll be very well fed after this. You'll feel pretty good after this. Which question for Tyrope, because I've seen people do this. When characters have a full meal and drink and they're not doing anything, I've seen some DMs count that as like towards a rest, like a way to.
Oh yeah, this could 100% be a short rest.
Yeah.
You're
So
just chilling and kicking back.
yeah, and so obviously it won't help a long rest, but I've seen people do this where it'll help like in that regard. So if you guys needed it, you guys could count this as a short rest, which I don't think it's going to affect any of you. But
Yeah, and I've
Uh-uh.
heard it differently. Like I've heard some DMs say short rests are an hour, others say like 15 to minutes to a half an hour.
Thank you for the
It all
follow.
depends on the-
yeah, to me, I'd say a short rest is, let's say 30 minutes. I think an hour just feels long for a short, because I don't when I was doing all the crazy moving stuff, 30 minutes felt like forever and was a perfect way to rest. So we'll say a short rest is a nice good 30 minutes.
And if you want to go into the finer details of it, short rest can be anything until it becomes long rest. So like it's just the minimum that you have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, you just literally have to hit that minimum and you're good. So, okay, so Grigor is taking a short rest with some food and drink. Talina is getting a drink. Battles has food and drink. What is Merrick doing?
He's also ignoring the whole broken up guy situation for no other reason than he doesn't give a shit. And he walks up and gets the same stuff the Basil got, which is just some food and then the same drink he had earlier because it was a good drink.
So then yours would be 8 copper for the drink because yeah, you did have the hill cider and you would be like, I want some more of that. It's really good.
Yeah, again, that and then good food and I already subtracted all the monies for it, so we're good.
Okay, cool. And then Dax, what are you doing?
She would have actually have left the tavern and went to one of the wharfs just away from people and kind of sat down, drooping her legs over.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a little pouch that she carries with her, and she would have pulled out one of her small things of rations from it and just kind of silently looked out on the river and eaten.
Okay.
Just kind of sitting there. And
Okay. Cool.
Oh no, she's edgy.
We've established that half y'all are edgy. Like, that's not a mystery. Like, we knew this.
Even the barbarian is edgy. A little bit.
So
We'll get into that later.
Technically speaking, if you needed to, you could count it as a short rest as well. But if you guys are just resting, that's totally good. So, and then Othwin, she's asleep, so she's actually getting a legit rest. And depending on how long she sleeps, maybe she'll get a long rest. But she is actually resting in the bag, which is hilarious to me. And so back in the tavern, Talina has approached the young gentleman in the corner. And he looks exactly the same as before, just a little more distant because, you know, he's had alcohol and he hasn't really had anything much to eat. He's just been kind of sitting over there. Okay, sounds good, guys. No worries. So he's just kind of chilling in the corner. But you guys approach, you know, Talina, you approach him. Do you sit at the table? Do you say anything, or do you just kind of silently approach him?
Well, I ask if I'm allowed. Is this seat taken?
And he just kind of like, he doesn't look at you, doesn't make eye contact. He just has this very, you know, solemn face and just shakes his head a couple of times, so indicating no.
I put my shield against one of the table legs, gently lower my bag next to the shield as it makes some minor hooting noises.
Yeah. And he'd hear this, and he'd kind of like this would be the first that you've seen since you entered the room that he actually raises an eyebrow. His facial expression changes, and he kind of looks over towards the bag with a perplexed look. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of notices the bag is making odd noises.
It's Did you see the little bird creature that was with us?
Oh. Yeah.
And
I did.
Talina gently opens the bag to look in. I was like, that's an adorable view. And just like looks at him and like doesn't lift the bag but like holds the opening slightly towards his end of the table so he can look in and see the cute little feather ball.
And he has that look on his face like he remembers what she did for him. And so he kind of, one hand on his tankard, the other arm is kind of dangling. He kind of leans around the edge of the table towards where the bag is to look inside. And he takes a look, and you do see a look of recognition on his face and the slightest tinge of a smile in the corner of his mouth before he leans back in his chair and goes, yeah, it's something you don't see every day. And he takes a sip, and you notice he's not guzzling his ale. He just takes a very slight sip. So if you can kind of guess that based on that speed, if he hasn't changed at all, he probably hasn't had an exorbitant amount of alcohol to drink since you left him. It's probably been a bit, but it's probably not as much as you would have thought.
Obviously, nothing I say can make this any better, but you know, if there's anything you need, if I'm not around directly, go tell Duruun at the bar, and he'll know where to find me if he needs me, or if you need me.
He nods a couple of times. Yeah, I appreciate that. I thank you guys for pulling me out of there. I just can't believe she's gone. He has the tankard like right in front of him, and he's kind of making little circles with it so that the liquid's kind of sloshing in a very soft circle around the inside of the tankard.
Wow. Maybe remember those we love and celebrate the days to come. And she like not like raise her glass, but like holds it a couple of centimeters above the table, and like we'll bump glasses but not make a show out of it.
Yeah. I was tempted to have you roll a persuasion, and that doesn't really feel appropriate. So yeah, he kind of looks over. Huh?
He doesn't.
What?
He either hits it or he doesn't. It's not
Yeah,
really a persuasion thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, it's not really the vibe. So he kind of looks at her, and he's already holding it, and he just kind of like moves it over to where you hear a slight, and then he brings it back. Like it just literally just enough of a connection to make the sound of wood on wood, and then it comes back into his hands. He doesn't take a sip. He just keeps swishing it around slightly.
No, she does take a sip and just sit there and present the listening ear if needed.
Yeah. But yeah, he basically just sits there quiet like and just kind of acknowledging his own self. While this is happening, let's see. So Talina's conversing with him. Merrick, you are eating. Monhold's eating. Melon's eating. Shadow. So yeah. So Daxori, you're out on the wharf currently, right?
Yeah, she's out on the wharf currently eating one of her rations from her bag.
Okay. Is she just still sitting there eating, or is she want to do anything else?
No, she sits there and eats, and then just kind of swings her legs back and forth as she looks around.
Okay. I mean, you would see a very lovely, picturesque view of the river. I mean, you can hear people milling. I was trying to find sound effects of people milling about in town. I can't find one. I'm sorry. I thought I had one. You can hear, just people milling about, conducting their business. It's almost like what happened earlier didn't happen. Like, it's just the city has recovered in just very short period amount of time, and people are going back to their business. The areas that were damaged by the serpent are still damaged. It's obviously clear that it did. It's not like you dreamed it. It did happen. But the creature has been swiftly cleaned up. The riverfront is back to business as usual. You can hear ships that are being. You hear distant shouting of seamen unloading ships or loading ships. You hear some children running nearby that are running away from their parents, and the parents chasing after them. And you can see people going in and out of shops. And it's just a very nice, pleasant day on the river. There's nothing really else too crazy going on around you.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say.
Can she see the other side of the river? Can she see any parts of the north docks?
Yeah. The dock, the river is pretty wide, but it's not too wide that you couldn't see across it. It's probably a good half to 3/4 of a mile wide from shore to shore from where you're at. So you can easily see the other side, but it's almost a mile away. You're not going to really be able to make a whole lot of details out, but you can see the other shoreline where you can see some ships that are docked. And the way that their shoreline is so on this shoreline, South Duruun, or the Duruun proper, has this massive stonework dock that spans east to west, and it's very, very long. It can fit a lot of ships, there's a lot of shops, and it's modern, right? It's very well built. North Duruun is not like that. North Duruun has a dock that is basically almost at water level. And there's if you look on this map, I kind of reflected it where there's these, the shoreline, which is the shore, and then it goes up to these little cliffs so that the city is built up away from the water. So when the water goes up and down with the tide, it doesn't affect it. But the dock is actually down a little bit. You have to climb these big stairs to get up into North Duruun. So you can see straight across, and instead of seeing a wall or instead of seeing a big dock, you basically see kind of a water level dock, and then a bunch of little buildings and whatnot that are kind of scattered around this kind of sunken area where the dock is at. It's nice, clean river. You see water rushing by. You can see ships maybe that are starting to dock on either side or starting to leave. Maybe a ship passes by. Maybe you see one of the big billowing sails float down the river east towards that would be presumably towards Lithune Lake or maybe to the eastern seas. But it's pretty quiet. There's nothing crazy going on.
Okay. Daxari would just kind of take in the peace and quietness after the commotion that they dealt with. She's also still getting adjusted to her surroundings, as she hasn't been in the material plane for long.
For sure. Yeah, it would definitely be jarring because from where she's from, this would be a lot of clean light. It's not that dim fire-based light with that smoke and that ash everywhere. This is very clean, fresh air. You can hear birds chirping. There's a breeze blowing through. It would be very pleasantly jarring for her. Cool. So while Dax is taking this all in and enjoying the riverfront, the three of you that were eating, are you guys all sitting together in the tavern?
Are we together?
I don't know. Did the other two walk over?
I know
to
we're
Basil
sitting.
Once he found a table.
It depends. Did Basil sit? Because Merrick would have gone and sat at the bar. So
Basil went and found himself a table because he's not going to eat food up at the bar. The bar is for those coming in for their drinks.
Clearly, you've never been to a bar.
Look, I've been to bars before, but that is how he believes.
I was gonna say, bro, I have eaten so many meals at a bar. It's not even funny. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. What about
doesn't
Grigor?
trust
Are you sitting and eating with at the table with Basil, or are you sitting at the bar and eating with Merrick?
He would have picked a table.
Okay. Cool. So you guys are eating here at the table with Basil and eating at the bar, and we're just kind of having a nice day. So for the sake of brevity, you guys obviously get some time to eat. You guys eat your meals, drink your drinks, and you guys feel full and nourished. You guys, obviously, all of you guys, if you need to, you can qualify that as a short rest, no problem. Othwin is still asleep in the bag, I take it?
Oh yeah, she passed the fuck
She passed out? Okay, cool. So at this point, unless you say anything, I will assume that Othwin is going to continue resting. And then at any point you want her to wake up, just go ahead and chime in and have her wake up. But I will just assume at this point that she is conked out in the bag. She had a very big day. Cool. So you guys are welcome to stay at the tavern and keep conversing. Obviously, Talina, you're still sitting with the individual that lost his lover. If you guys want, you guys are welcome to stay here for the remainder and carry out some more hours of rest. Or if you guys want, you guys can explore the riverfront and do some shopping or do some window shopping or just do some exploring. It's up to you guys. Because at this point, you guys are just kind of like taking in the riverfront and the sights and just kind of getting the lay of the land. Or if you guys want to converse with each other, by all means, go for it.
Basil, after finishing his meal, he does need to run back to his quarters.
Okay. All right.
And grab some of the equipment that he did not have with him for
Sure.
the day. Knowing that he's going to be on a job, he's going to grab some things from his place.
Okay. So the spot that you, if I understand correctly, you said, let's see, your guy...
A little bit further east on the docks,
Yeah.
is what I was thinking.
So the place that you're staying, if you're looking at the Roll20 map, you're probably going to be somewhere around this area right here.
Okay. And currently we're somewhere around like
yes,
here.
yeah. So you'd probably be about a 10-minute walk away if you just go straight down the docks. If you don't stop or do anything on the way there or the way back, it'd probably take you roughly 10 to 15 minutes to get from there to the inn where you are currently staying.
Got it.
So if you want to go ahead and head that way, you can do that.
As I clear my space, or I set my stuff down, I leave the table. Flick a gold piece to the barkeep because, courtesy.
Duruun catches it very swiftly and smirks and then nods in your direction, and you see him pocket it in one of the many pockets on his big leather apron.
Basil's a good tipper, okay?
Clearly, yeah. So make sure you mark that off.
Yep, I already marked it.
Cool.
And then he'll exit the tavern. Would I notice our tiefling friend sat on the dock
Dax?
area?
Yeah, she's not trying to hide or anything like that. So you would notice her.
So before he just makes his way to his lodging, he'll make his approach, not trying to sneak at all, but definitely like knocking on a plank of wood as he approaches to kind of get their attention.
Yeah, so Dax, you'd hear the noise behind you of the
and she turns around rather quickly. Not like she's ready for a fight, but if she had to be, she could move from her position really quickly.
Do I notice how jumpy that was? Or would it just kind of been like reactionary?
You'd probably notice how jumpy that was.
Don't worry. There's a reason I announced I was coming. I know not to sneak up on someone when I'm not meaning to.
She gives you a slight nod before relaxing a little bit.
How tired would Dax look? Like dead tired or like mentally to physically exhaustion?
Um,
After the day that we've had.
she'd be more she'd be more physically exhausted, but it would be hard to tell. She hides it very well.
Would I be able to look past that? Contested rolls, maybe?
If you roll,
Yeah, if you want to roll to see if you can look past her initial shell, you're gonna need to roll insight, and then if Dax, if you want to shield, if you want to keep that to yourself, I'll have you roll a probably deception. Yeah, probably just deception. So it'll be your insight versus her deception.
I got a 20.
Got a 20?
That plus 7 helps.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah.
I was gonna say that. Okay,
So
cool.
yeah. So whenever,
I didn't expect to actually succeed on that, but still.
Yeah. It was close. I mean, you rolled pretty well. But yeah, so at that case, you're not going to see much past her initial outward shell. You're only going to see what she's letting you see.
Gotcha. Also, apologies. I think a train is going by.
Oh, you're fine.
If you need a place to sit for the night, I'm sure they've got rooms here. Otherwise, got open space at a lodging just down the dock. Take your pick. The one I'm offering is free. The one over here is probably going to charge you.
With Daxori being the not necessarily stingy person, but doesn't like to spend money often, she's going to take you up on the free. So she gets up and turns around. She's like, "You show me where it is?"
Right this way. Basil will lead on down the docks. I don't know if everybody in the tavern wants to do anything in the meantime.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, you guys would have seen Basil get up and leave, unless you guys were paying attention. Would anyone have been looking outside and paying attention to where Basil went or where Dax was sitting? Or would you guys be focused on what you're doing?
I'll be paying attention a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be too busy with the conversation and the glancing in the bag.
Okay.
The thing that Basil's not touching with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. So in that case, and then Grigor, would you have seen anything, or would you just been focusing on your food?
I would have been focusing on my food.
Okay. So Grigor, you wouldn't have noticed this, but Alexander, you would have seen Basil get up and go converse with Dax, and it would have just been very casual from a distance. And then you would have seen her get up, and the two of them walk eastward away from the tavern and out of sight, back in the direction of where you guys kind of came from, but off in that way, but out of sight, because the opening that you guys are looking through faces north, faces right toward the river.
All right.
Okay, so Basil and Dax, you're walking east. We'll come back to you guys in a minute when you guys get to where you're going. But I will say this, on the way, you guys do pass various food shops. You pass some stalls. You'll pass some little curio shops, maybe some trinket shops, maybe different item things.
Do they pass any shops that are selling like leather armor?
Leather armor. I would say there's a good chance that you would pass. Probably we could. Yeah, you probably pass Zorgrim's Armory, which would have been like this. It would have been kind of tucked back off the side of another shop, and it would have been dimly lit. But you would have seen this hanging sign. That's just kind of like just very simple wooden sign with a sword and a shield on it. No name or anything. But you would have seen those two symbols. And would you have stopped to go in and look?
Yeah. Dax would have stopped, and she would have gone ahead to go look into the armory.
Okay.
She wants to try and replace some of her gear.
Okay, gotcha. So you walk in, and basically as you approach, it's like you feel like you've just stepped into this ancient realm. Like it just feels old when you walk in. Not like dingy, just old, and like there's a lot of age here. It's dimly lit. There's shelves everywhere, and all around you is just various accoutrement of weapons and armor. Nothing that like catches your eye right off the gate. But you can see that you're in the right spot. And you can tell that this place also might have something just kind of unique about it. Like there's something kind of special about the items that are sold here. In the back, you hear the clang, clang, clang of a hammer on an anvil. And you can see that the shop was a very narrow entering, but the back of it opens up into some sort of courtyard behind it that would be connected with a bunch of other shops. And so obviously the forge is on the back side of the shop, and so therefore he's not, whoever you're hearing hammer on the anvil is not directly visible to you. But as you approach, you hear the clang, 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 and then all of a sudden the clanging stops, and you didn't say anything, but all of a sudden you hear footsteps, and you see the counter's very high. It's probably at about your upper chest level, and you see this very short, like, you see the top of a head, kind of like coming up.
Is it a gnome?
No, it's not a gnome. It's not a gnome. And then you hear, and you realize a dwarf is now standing in front of you, who has to stand on a step stool. So he is now at your eye level behind the counter, but obviously he's a dwarf, so he was not at your eye level a moment ago. And this guy comes up in front of you and is wiping his very dirty hands off of the rag and says, "Well, howdy do then. Welcome to Zorgrim's Armory. What can I do for you? My name is Thorgar. Pleasure to meet you."
Nice to meet you too. I'm looking for some new leather armor.
All right. Anything particular you're looking for? Bracers, gauntlets, chest armor, a cloak perhaps, or just anything?
I'm looking to specifically replace my chest piece for right now.
All right. And he kind of leans over a little bit. He's kind of sizing you up and says, "Would you take a step back, lass, so I can get a good look at your frame to see if I've got something in stock?"
Yeah, she does as requested, and she takes a step back to let him take a look.
Okay, and as you step back, you get a good look at him, and he looks kind of old. Like, he doesn't look like he's a young he has a lot of like spunk. Like, he looks like he's pretty active, but he looks a lot older, and his eyes portray like a lot of he's seen a lot. Like clearly he's seen a lot, and it's kind of he doesn't fit the vibe of Duruun. I feel like he came from somewhere else. And he takes one of his hands up and he's stroking his long braided beard that comes off of his chin, and he's just stroking it as he looks you over, and he's got his eyes squinted a bit behind his big burry bushy eyebrows. It's like, all right. Well, you got a sleek frame there, lass. Looks like you're quite the active person. I may have something for you. Are you needing anything specific, or just replacing what you've got?
I mean, what do you got? If you've got a few different things, I would like to browse.
Sure, I can do that for you. Give me a moment. And he goes back down off the step stool, so he just disappears, and all you can see is the tip top of his head, which is, at this point, because he's turned around, you can see a balding spot in the back of his he's got that like dwarven brownish red hair, but because he's older, it has a lot of those salt and pepper flecks mixed into it, and there's the bald spot, so he's showing his age. And he wanders off into the back, and you can hear the sounds of like shuffling things around and some clanging things here and there, and he's clearly looking for things because Neon has to really quick build a table, because I forgot to actually build this table. So give me 1 second. While that's happening, what is everybody else doing, so I can try to knock this out real quick?
I was gonna ask real quick what the name of this armor smith that we went to was.
The armory is Zorgrim's Armory, Zorgrims Armory. And he introduced himself as Thorgar, Thorgar. He did not give you a last name yet.
That's fine. I just wanted to get it in my notes.
Sure.
Taking notes.
Good deal.
Oh, and for the sake of, giving you some more time, at this point, Helena would probably have gathered the guy's name.
Okay. You
assuming he's willing to give it.
Well, no one's asked him. He's not in the right mindset to be like small talking. So someone would have had to introduce themselves or anything. So if you had like introduced yourself at one point, he would have been like, "Oh, my apologies, Nellis Cakum," and so Nellis Nelles Cakum Cakum. That's not what I want. Oh, come on. Wow, this is less than helpful. I'm trying to build out an armory table. I don't need magic items. I need armor. There we go. That's
How
what I was
about
looking
magic
for.
armor?
Well, I can do that. I was just trying to find non-magic armor first because
I don't think we can afford magic armor yet.
No, we can't.
probably not. Probably
We can
not.
throw all of our money together. We still can't afford it.
Yeah, probably not.
That's campaign type items.
Basil might be a semi-rich boy because of whatever, but it's because he saved his money.
Like magical items that are actually worth it are like 500 gold pieces and above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even those are one-time use. Most of them, like potions and such.
Okay. So, anyways, so while you've been introduced to Nellis, and he's opening up to you a little bit, but he's still very much grieving. So he is not a very chatty boy right now. And then obviously Dax is waiting for Thorgar to come back. Othwin's still sleeping. Alexander, I believe, is still eating with Grigor. And then Basil, when Dax walked into the armory, did you walk in with her?
I would have just kind of poked my head at the door and been more like popping inside and just leisurely going through whatever could attribute to aisles or whatever he's got along his walls.
Okay.
It's armor, most of it, and
Yeah,
I don't touch that stuff.
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge mix. You'd see various basic accoutrement of weapons, like you'd see some very basic short swords, maybe a couple long swords, a quarterstaff here and there. You'd see various chest plates that look like they're made for the guard of the city. That are all hung up on a rack that's kind of off to the side, away from where like customers are just gonna be able to grab it, but it's clearly visible.
If I can add a little descriptor to Basil at the moment, he does have the serpent's teeth just kind of tied along the side of his backpack or his
Okay.
Vest or hip, whichever makes more sense. But they are on display. It's just monster teeth looking things right now. So
yeah, perfect. For those of you who do not remember, or for chat who has no idea what's going on, at the end of the first fight this party was involved in, they killed this massive serpent. Well, in the course of this serpent kill, Basil was grappled to the serpent's teeth with both hands, and part of the attack was ripping the teeth out of the head of the serpent, and so he took them with him. So he has two of these gigantic, they're about, I think, 12 to 14 inch long.
About the size of his forearm.
Yeah, about the size of a very long a very short sword or a long dagger, but they're not like a typical tooth. They're like a long cylindrical tooth, but it comes to a very sharp point, so you can hold them like a knife. Okay, so yeah, while you're doing that, but then Thorgar comes back, and he's got a couple items kind of clutched in his grasp, and he walks up the step stool there and comes up, and he plops these items down on the counter and wipes his hands off. All right, then let's see. And he kind of slides them out, and it's very basic. He has a leather oh my gosh, what's it called? Breastplate sort of thing, but it's leather, so it ties basically underneath the armpits on both sides. So it basically covers the front and the back. It's just a simple piece of leather. It looks like it's very well made leather, and it has some mild embossing, so it has kind of a design to it, but it's just standard leather. He has another one that is kind of a vest, so it buttons up in the center, but again covers the back and the front. And then he has like a cloak that he's pulled out that's made of leather as well, that would basically clasp around the neck and then just kind of drapes behind you like a cape, and it has a hood that goes over the top. And that's basically kind of what he has as far as style, and he kind of lays them out. They're all around your size, and nothing super fancy. It's just pretty basic. But he does lay them out. He goes, all right, this is basically what I've got right now in the shop. If you're looking for leather, that is. These all should probably fit you. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for and what's going to fit you the best and your movement.
Gotcha. Daxori would take a look at the different items. Can you describe the first one again?
Yeah, so the first one is no, you're good. So the first one is a like a breastplate sort of style. So basically, it's a full leather piece that covers from shoulder down to your waistline on front and back, and then it ties up on both sides, like on the sides of your torso, up underneath your armpits. And then the second one is like a vest that you could put on like a vest, and it basically cinches up in the front. So one is like armor, and the other is like a piece of clothing, but they're both made of the same material. And then, but you notice that the one that covers front and back is ribbed in such a way, and you can tell that it has some texture to it. The other one just kind of has the emboss feature to it. So you can tell there's a slight difference between the two. But at first glance, you notice there's something different, but that's essentially what you'd be able to glean just by looking at them.
Daxor would kind of like put her hand up to her chin as she looks at the different items. You know, as much as I have always wanted a cloak, for me it's just not practical.
That's
So
fair. I
she
can
ki-
imagine that'd be a wee bit of a problem with you. And he kind of motions to the horns a little bit. He's like, I can imagine that'd be a wee bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, probably. So she kind of pushes that one to the side.
And he takes it and he kind of folds it up very kind of haphazardly, but somewhat cleanly, and he tucks it in a shelf under the counter that you can't see.
And then she takes a look at the other two, looking at both of them, kind of her head moving back and forth as she looks at the detail.
Which one were you focused on?
She's looking at both of them, kind of.
Gotcha.
Her head's going back and forth.
So he kind of
as her
pushes them apart a little bit, and he goes, "Well, let me see if I can help you a wee bit here." And he focuses on the one that cinches up the front. That's like a regular vest. This one is just standard leather. There's nothing special about it, to be honest with you, lass. It'll do the job, no lie about it. But it's basically just leather. It has a little bit of some flourish on it, because I'm an artist at the end of the day. But nothing fancy there. That'll run you about 10 gold for this one here. And then he slides it over, and then he takes the other one. This one over here is a wee bit nicer. This is studded leather with studs underneath the leather so that it has a nice, good, consistent look. But it's just, it's at the end of the day, it's leather with mild studs underneath it. This one's a little bit stronger, will last you a wee bit longer, but this one's going to run you closer to 45 gold.
She asked, do they weigh about the same?
Yeah, the studded leather one's a wee bit heavier, but not by much. It's about, I say it's close to 12, 13 pounds. This one over here is about 10.
Okay. I think I'm gonna, as much as I like the studded one, just for my my needs, I think I'm gonna take the vest.
Right, you want that? All right. So he slices. Anything else I can do for you besides the vest? Anything else I can help you with?
No, not at the moment. All my other equipment is in a working order.
Very well then. All right. Well then that'll be 10 gold for the vest, and he takes the studded one, slides it under the counter, and he slides the one that cinches up the front, and it looks very nice. Like the leather on it is very good leather. It does not look like it was poorly made, and it looks like like I said, the embossing on the front of it kind of has this not what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like it not vine work, but like it has all these like nice lines and swirls on it that create this very intricate looking pattern. That doesn't provide anything other than just it looks nice.
Okay. She opens up her coin pouch, taking out 10 pieces of gold and sliding it over to him.
And he opens his hand, takes it. Thank you very much, lass. I appreciate doing business with you. And he takes it and he tucks it down into he's got a little coin purse that's cinched on the side of his working belt, and he just drops them in the air, and you hear the jingle jangle of the coins hitting each other. And yeah, you now have yourself a regular light armor leather vest, which does so it's regular armor, so it's light armor, so it does its AC is 11 plus your Dex mod, just for the record, so you can add that to your inventory if you want. And that because it's a basic item, you should be able to just pull it out of D&D Beyond. You should be able to just add it.
Yep, I've already pulled it out.
Perfect. There you go. So yeah, and then Thorgar kind of goes, "Well, appreciate your business, lass. It was a pleasure." And he looks over and says, "What about you, young man? Anything I can do for you?"
Well, I feel like armors usually weigh me down a little bit while I'm out and about, so...
That's fair. It's not meant for everyone. And he notices the teeth on the side of your bag. He goes, "Those are interesting there. Where did you get those little doodads?"
Out of a giant serpent's mouth.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting. It's all... Wait. And he stops and he leans in a little bit. And he's got one hand holding it, like bracing him up on the counter, and the other one is now stroking... he doesn't have the big braided. He has the big braided beard, that, like I mentioned before. So he's like stroking it very long all the way down, and he's like intertwining his fingers. And goes, "Big serpent, you aren't the folks who took down that river monster a wee bit ago, were you?"
very much the same.
Well, how about that? Had I known. Well, welcome to me humble shop. I feel a little bit honored now. Well, let me have a look at those. And he like takes his hand away from his beard and he like motions for you to come close so he can look at them.
I'll move towards the counter, like unhooking or untying one from my hip side and bringing it up to be on display for him.
And he takes it and do you hand it so that he can actually hold it, or do you just show it to him?
I hold it closely. If he wants to reach out and grasp it, he is able to.
Yeah, he'd reach out and he'd go like, well, do you mind?
Not at all. I got 2 for a reason.
Appreciate you. And he takes it and he holds it with both hands, no longer bracing himself, and he holds it and he seems to hold it with like a level of like care. Like it's obviously he doesn't know how fragile or unfragile it is, so he's like looking it over. It's interesting. That's very sharp. That could make a good weapon. Have you using it as a weapon, or is this just a trophy of your kill?
I planned to stab it in the head before it was toppled to the ground, so I guess it's a weapon.
Oh, I bet you did, Lanny. That would have done some damage. And he's kind of looking it over. He's like, well, I mean, it's quite the trophy. You probably should put something around the bottom of it so you can grip it better. I mean, it's just a tooth.
You have something that might fit or work with that?
Hey, of course, I could do that, no problem. And he's kind of looking it over. It's like, we could just make a leather handle for it and put a nice little pommel on the end of it, and you'd have yourself a wee dagger made from a serpent's tooth. That's something to take home.
I always believed in keeping a little something from the big jobs or whatever. So, I mean, what'll it run me?
Let me see here. Well, I had it written down. Hold on a second. I did actually have it written down, and now I am not seeing it. So give me a second.
Are you talking about the actual like piece page that you put together?
No.
I
had a actual thing for like weapon customization and like price and times, and I have a time. I don't have a price. So, well, I'll put it to you this way: if you just need me to wrap some leather around the bottom of it, put a wee pommel on the end of it, and call it a day, I could do. Do you want me to do both of them, or just the one?
Might as well make it both.
I could do both of them for, let's see. And he kind of like he's like looking up at the ceiling and stroking his beard, and you can see him squinting, trying to do the math in his head. We could probably do the both of them. If it's pretty basic, I could probably do the both of them for 5 gold. Now, if you wanted to be a little bit special, a little bit better, I could do that, but it would take you a little bit longer, and it'd probably be closer to 10 gold.
Nice Vasily slip there, by the way.
What?
Your accent was slipping.
Listen. I'm doing the best I can.
You're fine. I had to just point it out and give you a little crap about it. So when you say special, are you meaning like maybe would hold a little bit better than just some leather wrap around it?
I'd reinforce it a wee bit, make it a real true weapon. If you just need something to grip, like I say, I could wrap some leather around it and put a pommel on the end of it and call it a day.
You know, I don't see myself needing him anytime soon. I can spare handing them to you to get them done up.
Aye, all right. Well, like I say, you want me to do the good job then?
The good job.
Okay.
As I reach into my own coin purse.
All right. Well, let me have the other one. And he kind of motions like excited, like he gets to work on this. And so he takes the one, he slides over to the left a little bit, and he motions for the other one.
As I'm going in my coin purse, I'm untying the other one.
Okay. And he goes, all right, well, go ahead and pay me the 10 gold for the custom job. And I'd say it's going to be at least a day. So if you want to come back tomorrow, I'll let you know where I'm at. If it takes a wee bit longer, I'll let you know, and we'll talk about it then.
Got it.
Perfect.
As I place the other tooth and the 10 gold in a nice stack on the counter.
Aye, fantastic. And he takes it and he drops it in the coin purse, and you hear the as it goes into his open coin purse on his hip. Takes the other one, and then you see he takes a linen cloth out from under the counter, and he carefully places both teeth inside the wrap, and then kind of flops the edges over and rolls it up and takes them, and he holds them. And you can see he's taking care with these. Like he's genuinely trying to be careful with them. He takes it. He goes, all right, I appreciate your business, young man, and you as well, young lass. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the leather armor, lass. If you have any problems with it or gives you any issues, come on back. I'll take care of you. No problem. And he goes, and he goes, all right, have a good one. As he like is sauntering, you can tell he's excited to go work on this, and he goes, and it wanders off into the back. As you guys are still kind of standing there, and he got the teeth tucked under his armor and arm, and you hear him go back into the back to keep working.
All right. Well, shall we continue on?
Daxori looks over at him and nods before continuing to follow him.
And don't worry, I've got a bit more of a private space. You can try on and don that armor.
Sounds good.
Right. And so you guys leave the shop, and you guys keep making your way to where Basil's residing. While that's happening, we're going to jump back over to the tavern real quick. So, Talina, you've been conversing with Nellis. Nothing really too crazy. I mean, he's being very quiet. He's probably up talking to you a little bit, but nothing a lot. Do you push anymore, or do you just kind of leave him to his devices at this point?
No, I'm just being company, really. Maybe I'm doing some light song work.
Okay.
Not actually playing, but like maybe a note or two, and then.
Okay. And you can tell he appreciates it. You can tell that he's eased up a bit. He's not as forlorn in his face, but he's still very much in grief. But he's relaxed a little bit more, and after a little while, he looks into his empty tankard and he puts it down. And at this point, Duruun notices it start to walk over, and Nellis holds his hand up. No, I've had plenty. I think I'm gonna go rest. And he stands up and he takes the empty tankard and he drops a couple of coins into it. You can't really tell. He just kind of opens his hand over the top and drops the coins into the empty tankard. And he looks at you, Talina's. Thank you. I actually really appreciate the company. I know I wasn't the best, but I do appreciate it. And his face shows genuine sincerity there. And he kind of nods in appreciation to you.
Least we can do. And she like gestures down at the bag.
Yeah, he kind of glances down at the bag and is Othwin, I assume, still asleep.
Yeah, she's a tired bird.
Okay, so he looks and he sees the little down in the bag, and he actually genuinely smiles this time, and he reaches down and with a very soft touch, he kind of rubs the back of her head, just kind of strokes it a couple of times, and says, "Thank you for trying." And then he gets up and he starts to leave the tavern. And as he leaves, Merrick, you're sitting over at the bar eating. Grigor, I assume that you're right there next to him as well. Are you guys still eating, or are you guys done eating and getting up at this point?
I think Mark would be done eating.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Okay. Are you guys staying here? You guys want to go explore? You guys want to go shopping? Because I'd say at this point, we're getting on to about, let's say, 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock at this point. Sun's still up. It's starting to go down, obviously, but it's summer, so the sun's not going to hit it's not going to hit the horizon for several more hours. What do you guys want to do?
Go up to his room to do some weapon maintenance.
Go up to his room, you said, to do some weapon maintenance?
Yep.
Okay, well, you do have a room here at the Lucky Tankard, so you could go on up and do that, no problem, where you could go up and sharpen your blade, whatever you want to do up there. It's just up the flight of stairs. So Grigor would be going upstairs to maintain his weapon, and your weapon's in fantastic condition. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, when you were hitting the scales of the creature, it probably scuffed it a bit, so it could use a good sharpening and good polishing. But for the most part, your weapon's in pretty good condition, as it hasn't seen a lot of action recently. Anything else that you'd want to do to your gear at this point?
Also, while I'm in my room, I retrieve my bow and arrows.
Okay, fantastic. So you sling that, and you have the quiver now on your back with the arrow, or on your side with the arrows, and you have the bow slung across your back, and you've got all the gear you need. Do you stay up here and rest, or do you leave?
Gregor would stay up there for a bit.
Okay. Cool. So Grieger's up there, and so at this point, he's kind of gone doing his thing. Merrick, you're alone at the bar at this point. What do you want to do?
Merrick would probably go and rest, which I don't think he would have a. He definitely wouldn't have a room in this place.
Okay.
He's been in the city for a good bit. I would guess that he'd be like in some sort of a hotel that's on the richer side.
Okay. So if that was
Not
the
like ultra, but like comfortable.
Sure.
place.
Okay. So if that was the case, you would probably. It's funny, I actually don't have one for a nicer area, so give me 1 second. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So actually, I have one that would be perfect. So more than likely, if it's in a nicer area, but not like the richest, and he's seeking knowledge, more than likely he would have had a place in University Row, and there is a tavern there called the Wizard and the Wand, or the Wizard and Wand, which is rather nice. It serves some of the same things. It's not too different, but they do have slightly nicer rooms and accommodations. It is, you would basically paying 4 silver a night for a regular room, or if you were staying in the nicer, like the really fancy one, you're paying 16 silver a night per room. But it's a pretty good jaunt away from where you are. So if you're gonna head back to where your place is at, you are probably looking at a good half an hour walk from where you're at to your University Row. So if you're looking at the map, you guys are basically about here, and your place where you'd be lodging is probably right about here.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So you're welcome to go do that if you want. You'd be off by yourself on a little bit of a walk, but you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, he's gonna go back and try to get some actual rest in.
Okay.
Walk off the food and just relax until until the job comes in that he just expects to be trouble.
Okay. Anything you want to do on the way, because you're going to pass through basically half the district of Riverside, and you're going to briefly go through the residential district, then you'll be in University Row. Anything you need?
Not
need or want to look for?
necessarily. I think I don't need any items. That's for sure.
Okay.
The only thing that just the character of Merrick would be looking out for is, because again, he's been for the city a while, and he's been looking through like all the libraries and all like that kind of stores, magical item stores. He would be on the lookout for those kinds of stores that he hasn't seen yet.
Okay.
Not to stop at now, but kind of just to note for later, like,
okay,
oh, maybe this place sells some artifacts, or maybe they know something about some artifacts, or maybe they have some nice books, and we'll just mentally know them and keep going.
Sure. Okay. I'll say this flat out without giving any descriptors at this point. You would know for sure that there are several places that fit that bill in University Row, and you may have already checked some of them out. Maybe you missed a few, but what you're looking for specifically, University Row would definitely have some of those little, like, those curiosity shops that may have things of an arcane nature that would be kind of up your alley. You would definitely have passed like Glimmerwick's Arcana Oddities, which is tucked right like in the alley next to your accommodations. And you probably eyed it a couple of times, maybe haven't gone in yet, and it definitely kind of gives you that that like, I probably should check this out at some point. It probably has something that would be I could check out at a later date, but it definitely has that air about it up front. It would cost you a pretty penny when you walk inside. Probably anything that in there is probably going to be way outside your price range.
Yeah.
But yeah,
which is kind of why he's staying off of it for now.
Sure, yeah, and yeah, you definitely would see several other little curiosity shops and whatnot, and little magic shops on the way that you could stop at anytime you wanted. Hang on,
Not me making notes on your map.
Yeah, I'm literally making notes real quick on a couple of these because I want to make sure I don't forget where I put them, because that would be awkward.
I actually put them down on the map itself.
There you go.
On the map.
So the black outline is a bit thick, so I might redo them without outline.
There you go. And so yeah, so while that's happening, so Merrick is going back to his room in University Row. Talina, you just have seen Nellis leave. Do you stay there and converse with Duruun? Do you go what do you do? You've seen everybody kind of scatter at this point and recognize everybody's kind of going off to do their own thing for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I definitely want to leave my bag in good care.
Okay.
But I don't know if behind the bar is the right place. Definitely not near the table. Is the backstage area behind a door?
There would be a curtain off to the side, like a really heavy drape made of like some sort of either heavy cotton or leather that very clearly defines the central area from the back of house.
Probably secure enough for a napping owl. Plus, if anybody messes with the bag, gets the owl. So, I'll very carefully put the bag, unlike a very soft feeding somewhere backstage.
Okay.
So that it's not.
Duruun would see you do this and kind of recognize, going like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it. It's not a problem."
It's not it's the
Oh no,
inside.
I saw her. I understand. It's all right. She'll sleep tight. It's okay.
It's not
Fair
the it's the who.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Shadow, do you need a second since you spilled water?
Oh, wait, what?
Shadow spilled water on her desk.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's great. Just
Yeah.
one quick second.
Yeah, go for it. No worries. We'll take another quick little break here. I like this because like I wanted to give you guys time to to role play, and so I'm just kind of letting you guys kind of do your thing. So this is perfect.
Yeah.
Bassel's just out here doing his best to make people comfortable.
And yeah, she would go out to just find some like cheapo trinkets that are shiny.
Okay.
Like some, not like necessarily silver.
Yeah.
Or like precious metal rings
Mhm.
and stuff, but like just your tin and your copper
So
rings.
she would
and-
100% know at this point that she could go right up the street to Glimmer's Curio Emporium where Grigor works, and that would be the spot for a shiny trinket.
Yeah. Let's go browse there.
Okay, so this is perfect. So Shadow can take a minute to do what she needs to do, and we'll go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
So Talina, you wander up the street and you find the little emporium that you've probably walked past a dozen times and never walked in, but you know this is the spot to go. And as you walk in, you don't open a door, but you hear a little ching ching, like a little bell go ding as you walk in, but you didn't open a door. It rang as you walked in, and you hear, and you see little Elria come into scene.
Oh, hello, dear. Welcome to Glimmer's Curio Emporium. What can I do for you, dearie?
Cute little warning glyph you got there.
Oh, yeah,
on the
yes.
door.
My hearing isn't so good anymore, so I had a little incantation put on the doorway, so if anyone comes in, I know right away.
That's a cute little jingle. I was just looking for. I'm gonna use the word that they use. Something shiny. Something to
shiny.
distract, say, a small creature with.
Of course,
Nothing
of course.
too expensive. Just it's a nice gesture.
Of course, I understand. Well, why don't you take a quick look around, see if you see anything. I'll be right over here, and I'll see if I have anything in the back that might fit what you're looking for. But please feel free to browse the shop. There's things all over.
And as you look around the shop, it's not disorganized, but it's not like, super organized either. It's kind of everything's kind of in its place, but nothing's really like, oh, here's these things, and it's just kind of, everything's kind of scattered, but it's clean and it's well put together. And as you glance around, you'd notice all sorts of little shinies. You'd notice, a little section of cute little baubles that literally just little silver balls of different sizes that are just of a nice, good silver shiny material with like a little etching on them. You'd see some writing material over in the corner with various quills and parchment, and the quills would be different sizes and of different makes. You'd see a little wooden box, and the wooden box is open. It's not closed. It's just kind of like a crate. And inside of it are all of these mushrooms that the tops of them have this faint glow that come off of them. And there's just various colors. There's greens, there's reds, there's blues, all in this this little crate. You'd see another little section where these like little things that appear to be some sort of toy, and there'd be a couple of them. One that looks like a little mouse, and then some other ones that have different shapes and sizes. There'd be another section where you'd see these cylindrical tube-like things with little holes on either end of them. And it looks like you can look through it, but you've never seen one of these before, so you're not really sure what it is. But there's like several of these little copper and silver tubes with these etchings and designs around the outside of it. And then you'd see a little row of various brass and silver flasks with different designs on the outside of them. And then you'd see this barrel off to the side, and it has all of these strange, what's the word I'm looking for? Bottles of different sizes with different shapes and sizes in them, and they don't have labels on them. They're all corked, and they have different color liquids inside of them, but none of them have labels. It's just a big barrel of different liquids inside of these bottles, and that's what you see when you look around the room.
So the things that instantly stood out to me is the sheets of paper. She's gonna need some of that for her songwriting stuff.
Okay.
The little silver baubles.
Mm-hmm.
She'll probably grab like 2 or 3 and then quickly, after buying them, keep them tucked in a pouch that is visible to owl eyes just for future distraction reasons.
Okay.
And then the barrel of mystery potions. You can't put that in front of me and not expect me to grab a couple.
I am so
So-
happy that you spotted that, because I have been working on this for weeks. So, this particular barrel, there is a little sign on the top of it, and it just has a number. It doesn't say anything, and it doesn't say anything else. The number on top says, ooh, I didn't write that down. The number on the top of it says 5, just 5 is all it says on the top of it. Oh wait, hold on, let me make sure I got the right thing here. Hold on a second, because I was still working on this. I think I have the right one. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so it just has a 5 on the top of it.
Does anything else have like a price tag on it?
On the bottles?
Or
on
like
the
in
items?
general in the store. Like,
Apologies, I'm
is
sorry.
the 5 like? Can I infer that that's a price tag, or is it literally the only thing that's labeled?
The other items would have had simple little hand painted signs or hand etched signs next to them with different prices, so you would know the 5 meant 5 of something, but it doesn't say 5 gold, doesn't say 5 silver. It just says 5.
All right, I'll grab like the stack of 10 pieces of paper,
Okay.
3 silver baubles, and I put those on the counter, desk, whatever she has. And then I just
So I'm sorry, you grab you grab how many of what? I'm sorry.
so I grab 10 sheets of paper and 3 of those baubles, the like small silvery ones.
Okay.
And then like with one arm still on the counter, I just turn towards the barrel,
Mm-hmm.
like with visible intrigue.
Okay.
Just, all right, dear Ace, you've got the paper and you've got the bubbles, and oh, I see you see the barrel. Yes, I recently acquired a batch of different concoctions and potions and whatnot from some of the wizards in training up at University Row. However, they didn't label any of them. I don't know what any of them do. I don't know what any of them may do to you or anyone else for that matter. They've assured me they won't kill anyone, but that's about the extent of it.
I see. I have a health potion, so I know the distinct red.
Yes, none of these would have the
Glowy
distinct
liquid.
red. None of these would
None
have the
of
distinct
those,
red.
Like, I'm doing some like digging into the bottom half.
Mhm.
None of them even look
Nope,
close to that.
Nope, you'd see some that look like. So go ahead and just like you'd pick up one that's let's see, you'd pick up one that it's full of this fizzy kind of liquid that, like, if you were to kind of smell, like, let's say you were to uncork it and smell it, it would literally tickle your nose. And it has some sort of bubbling going on it, like almost like carbonation. You might pick up another one, and it has a really disgusting, unpleasant smell coming out of it. And it's like this like a pale green color. You'd pick up another one, and it would be another greenish color that has kind of a weird sickly color to it, but it's almost it doesn't look liquid. I mean, it doesn't look watery. It looks thicker, like almost like a syrup. You might pick up another one, and it has a nice, like a pinkish rose color to it, and this beautiful scent of like a floral arrangement comes off of it. with a slight salty kind of overtone to it. There's many other ones, but those are some of the first ones that you kind of pick up. But there's you start to through your quick to like rummaging through it, which Elria is just letting you do it. She's not stopping you. Kind of sift through it and look, because none of them are labeled. The bottles are different shapes and sizes, and obviously they're all corked and they're different materials. But there is no way to determine what these potions are because you don't recognize any of them. But you recognize there's probably about 12 different kinds in here.
Okay, I'll pick up one of those. Oh, the 5. That's gold, I presume.
No, silver, dear. It's 5 silver.
Wow.
Yes. Like I say, I don't know what any of them do, but they've assured me this is some of their younger students are still learning how to concoct potions in their classes, and these were, well, the leftovers. That's what they told me.
The player in me wants to go one of each.
Well, so no, here's how this works. You get to roll a d12, and whatever you get is the potion that you get, and I'm not going to tell you what it is until you consume it.
Right. Well, I picked up, you said, a pinkish rose one that smells florally. I definitely want that one.
Okay, I'll let you have that one, but for any more, you need to roll. You have to roll d12 because that's how this works.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, they're only 5 silver apiece.
Great. We'll go for three different ones then.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I gotta note down what you have so I don't forget.
So I'll roll a d12 and another d12. And I'll roll these in chat because, yeah.
Okay, so you got a
1
and a 4?
4.
Okay,
Yes.
Perfect. I'm glad you didn't get any duplicate numbers because that would have been awkward.
Yeah, I would have rolled any duplicates.
Yeah, I would have had
the
to.
pinkish
I
rose.
mean, you could have had multiples of one. Like I said, there's multiples in here, so it's not like there's one of each. But like,
But it's more fun to have different ones.
Oh,
because then
100%.
You don't know what they do, even if
yeah.
you've had one.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this: I built 3 of these tables of different. Like you found basically the cheapest of the 3 tables. There's 2 other tables that get progressively more expensive of the same like concept.
My headset died halfway through that. Sorry.
I was saying
build
I've made
tables?
3 of these tables. You found the most like the cheapest of all of the 3 tables. There's 2 others that are scattered around that you might come in contact with that have more expensive and different potions in the same concept where you roll and you don't know what you're going to get until you drink it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I have a pinkish rose one that smells florally.
Yep. Okay. So yeah. So you had put the other ones down when you were shuffling through, and they kind of fell into the mix, and so you kind of lost track of them. But you still have the rose one, so you took that one, and then you just kind of stuck your hand in and you pulled out one. You pulled out that one that kind of had that kind of sickly, syrupy green color. You did find that one again, and then another one you picked up that you brought out kind of caught your eye, and it appears like that it basically appears as to be still as glass, and it doesn't slosh or bubble if shaken or moved at all. It's just it's liquid. It's not solid, but it doesn't slosh around. And it's this faint, very faint blue tint. And it's completely crystal clear, but it just has a faint blue tint to it. So you have those 3. So you had those 3, which that'll run you 15 silver total. The baubles, how many of those did you grab? You said 3?
3. Yeah.
Those are 20 apiece. 20 silver apiece, excuse me.
That's 60 to 75 so far.
Okay. And then you said some paper. Yeah. So if you just grabbed the paper, those would have been a copper apiece.
Oh, okay. So that's another silver. So that's 76 silver.
Mm-hmm.
Gold and 6 silver. Remove. Can't do that because I only have 4 silver. Right. Remove 8 copper. Add 4 silver. There we go. Got it.
Cool. Awesome. So you have your items, and Elria takes your money very carefully and thankfully.
Thank you so much, dearie. I appreciate your business. You just have to let me know how those potions turn out, and if
and she kind of like stops for a second. She kind of
if any time they cause any problems, please let me know, and I will let them know not to send me any more.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
and she takes the money and she puts it in her little coin purse that's under the counter, and she kind of like slides everything over to you, and she just has this very warm grandmotherly smile as she talks to you, and she's like,
Thank you so much, dearie, and you have a wonderful day.
And you too.
and there you go. So you are now the proud owner of some glimmering baubles. You have 3 of them, and then you have 10 pieces of just standard parchment paper, nothing special about it, just standard paper. And then you have those 3 unidentified potions: the greenish syrupy one, the beautiful smelling rose tinted one, and then one that basically appears as a very completely stable. There's no sloshing or anything, and it's a faint blue tint. If that's how you want to identify it for yourself, that way I know which one you're drinking.
Yeah, I wrote them down with different wordings, but yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm assuming they're the same weight as a regular
Yeah,
potion.
same weight as a regular
Maybe.
potion, no difference. Yep. For those ones, anyways.
Yeah, so they're half a pound each.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Cool.
This will
All
be
right.
fun.
So yeah, okay. So let's see. Talina just did some shopping. Merrick, you've gotten back to your room and you're resting for a bit. Grigor, you're resting in your room for a bit. Let's go ahead, and Othwin's sleeping it off in a bag in the back room of the Lucky Tankard. And so we'll go over to Melon and Dax, who have just now arrived at Basil's accommodations. And so as you guys walk up, it's a rather quaint. It looks like a seaside inn, but it's obviously you're on a riverfront. But as you walk up, it's nothing to write home about, but it's not like it's not gonna fall apart. It's not dilapidated, but it's quaint. It's probably in need of a little bit of repair. And you see this sign on the front that has this strange looking bird that's tilted to one side with its head off, like hanging off the side of the sign, kind of looking at you. And underneath it says the Crooked Crane. And it is just this very quaint looking little seaside riverside inn. And as you guys walk inside, it does have a small tavern bar at the base. It's very basic. It's nowhere near as lavish or as nice as the Lucky Tankard. It is very much just kind of like there's a guy standing behind the counter. It's a human who has kind of some 5 o'clock shadow going on, and he's got a stained shirt on, and he just kind of looks like a man's man. It looks like a working guy. He doesn't look like he really has a lot to say. He just kind of does his job. And then there's like probably one other person in there that's sleeping off a drunken stupor over in the corner, and it's candle lit. And then there's just a simple staircase that goes upstairs to where the rooms are.
All right. As Basil enters, does the barkeep or any of the regulars within the lobby recognize him, or is it more just some of these guys are probably someone he works with? Some of them are probably just pass by him every day and don't bat
Yeah,
an
the
eye.
barkeep just kind of like acknowledges your existence with a head nod of like, yeah, I recognize that you're staying here and you're paying me. And as of right now, you don't owe him any money. So he just is more just like, goes back to cleaning his tankard as you kind of walk towards your room. He's not really a chatter. He's just kind of like, he does his job, and if people need to talk to him, he'll do his job, but he's not really going to go out of his way to like chat with people.
Yeah, and Basil will return the head nod, turning to Dax, and I guess just follow me.
Yeah. She nods and follows you to your accommodations.
Once we get inside, what type of accommodations are we talking about? Because I do believe I have like the modest kind of.
Yeah, it's not
like,
not bad.
background
Like
stuff.
it's a very simple little tavern room where you get up there and it's clean. Like it's not like it's disgusting, but it's very clearly like this is not the nicer area of town that you'd be staying in. So it's a simple room. You open the door and you've got a decent sized bed over in the corner for where you'll sleep. There's a wardrobe that's right there where you probably have your gear stored in. And it's decent. It's made of wood. It has some nice carvings on it, but it's nothing fancy or lavish. There's a very simple desk over on the other side of the room with a candle on it that's not lit, with a simple stool in front of it. There's a trunk or a chest at the end of the bed where you could store things as well. And there's apparently a very angry beast that's growling outside. No, I'm kidding.
Enjoy the traffic flow.
Yeah,
flowing
there's
by me.
there's a very simple throw rug on the ground that's made of green and red thread with a white accent, so it's just very basic on the ground. It's worn, it's dirty. It's not disgusting, but it's clearly been around for a while and probably could stand to be cleaned and or replaced. And then there's a window over that's kind of up high over off to the side that's kind of the right of the bed that pours out light from that direction. It would be the I think it's the east from that direction. Yes, the light coming into your room would be from the east, so you would get morning sun but not evening sun. So right now the sun is behind you, so you're getting light, but it's not direct sunlight through the window. Yeah, I mean, it's a very simple room. It's got a bed, it's got a place for you to sleep, it's got a place to keep your stuff, and a place to eat if you want, and however Basil would customize the room to his liking.
And nicely, kind of next to the wardrobe, you would probably find a somewhat unusual styling. But it's just a spear, but it's got some unusual stylings and markings along the handle and along the blade tip. With that as well, it's just kind of it's got a little bit of a mess. The bed was unkept. He was late a little bit getting out in this morning. He's just like, I don't care. I wasn't expecting company. But would there be a separate wash area, or at least like a partition?
Yeah, you could say that there's a partition over in the corner with like a basin for washing your face, and like a rag of some kind or a towel or some kind that's slung over the partition.
Okay. Basil ushering in Dax would be like, make yourself at home. Corner over there, you can try on that new armor. But yeah, not much. I don't need much. Basil will walk in, set down whatever luggage he's had for the day. I actually don't think I had his backpack with him at all, so it's more like his backpack's also in the corner with the spear.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of hops onto the bed and lays back to relax from the busy and brutal battle of the day kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, you guys had a pretty rough morning. You're probably pretty exhausted at this point.
Dax would step into the room, kind of just looking around at the room, just the different amenities, and she would slowly make her way to the corner to try on the piece of armor just to make sure that it fits. It doesn't when she does get over to the corner, it doesn't take her long to try it on, and when she's satisfied that it fits, she takes it off and puts back on just her regular jacket for now.
Okay, so she's not. Is she actually donning the armor so that she has it on her sheet, or is she just?
She's not donning it right now,
okay,
since they're inside a room.
Okay, cool. All right, but you still have it, so that's good. So yeah,
yes.
I mean, you've tried it on. It fits. It would fit you very nicely. Thorgar did a very good job of sizing you up, and it fits you, and it feels like it belongs. It doesn't feel like it's too big or too small. Cool. So you guys are there in the room. Are you guys going to stay there and relax for a bit? Are you guys going to rest, or are you guys just kind of there to pick stuff up and leave?
Basil's plan, and I don't know if he needs to make it aware to Dax, was come in, rest until a messenger pops at his door or whatever, and then he'll pick up his gear and head on out. He was planning to rest here as long as it took for that messenger to get. He's basically telling his boss to shove it when it comes to tomorrow if he's going out tonight to do the work.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, so at this point, everybody's is resting at this point. So what I'm going to do is, it's at this point, we'll say it's about 5 o'clock. For the sake of everything going on, for the sake of that you guys are all taking it very easy and resting, I'm going to say that time progresses. Evening comes, it's about, let's say the sun's starting to go down, it's almost down, and it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So we're going to say that you guys get a long rest because you guys were able to basically spend the entire day, the rest of the day, taking it easy. And I think that between eating a good meal, getting a good drink, casually milling about town, not doing anything strenuous, you guys are able to get a full recharge and able to get your wits back about you and prepare for whatever it is that's going to befall you soon. So you guys can go ahead and mark yourselves off as a long rest. If I can get Obsidian to cooperate with me here. Good grief.
Nice. Gonna hit spell slot, bardic inspiration, and my draw magic back.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead. Yeah, because you guys used a lot of your stuff during that fight. And you guys are pretty low level, so we'll go ahead and make sure you guys have what you need. 1 second. I'm trying to take notes while I do this, and because I'm going to 2 computers is interesting. Okay, there we go. Cool. So at this point, evening has come. The sun is starting to go down, and you guys are starting to prepare yourself for the potential of this job that has befallen you. Talina, because you had mentioned this, you hear a message in your head, and it's Spitwick, and he comes through and says,
My employer has informed me that he has received word the plans have been complete, and he would like us to meet at the tavern.
and that's all you hear. And it is, I believe, with sending, you can respond to a message that is sent to you.
Yes, I can respond in 25 words or less.
Yeah.
Which is not going to be difficult, because her response is going to be, "Okay, I'm here."
And you don't hear any response after that. And then Alexander, over at your accommodations, it takes a little bit longer than you would have thought, but you hear a rap at your door and then a little missive is slid under your door. Simple piece of parchment folded twice. It's not sealed, it's just folded. And if you were to open it and read it, it just simply says, your employer has requested your presence at the Lucky Tankard for additional instructions. The same missive would be slid under your door, Basil. What you and Dax would see that if you guys are still there. And that would be what you guys get. Before I go any further, did Othwin wake up at any point during this time to go out and explore, do anything, or did she just sleep off everything and is going to get woken up later? I just want to make sure, because I feel bad because she's been sleeping this whole time.
She's a baby.
I know she's a baby. I'm just making sure.
And she's a night owl.
Also true.
She's not used
After
to
a
the
certain-
daylight quite yet.
Yep.
After a certain amount of time, if you keep sleeping, you're just dead.
Yeah, well, but she makes a point, though. Owls are nocturnal, so it does kind of make sense that she would be utterly wiped.
Yeah, true.
Cool. Okay. So, and Grigor's already at the tavern. So, Grigor, did you need to do anything else before you guys all meet up?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So
I'm gonna ask a very quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
Before we get to this point. I did not write down the name of the quest giver.
Cassivus.
And I want to Cassivus.
Yeah. He's a tiefling, so it's a simple first name. Casivus. Cassivus.
Oh, only one S. My bad. I miswrote it.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it's it's basically exactly how he spelled it minus one of the S's.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I will
keeping my own
say,
notes.
Adwin would wake up around the same time the sun starts to set to find food.
Okay. So then what we'll do is we'll start with Athwin. So as everybody has received notice of please return to the Lucky Tankard because that's where we're going to go ahead and meet. While everyone is getting that notification to meet there, Athwin, you would wake up shortly before this and you'd find yourself in the bag and looking up, you see the hole in the bag on top of you. And, you stretch and you climb out of the bag and you kind of look around and realize you are in the back room of the Lucky Tankard because you can see the drape that's right there, and you can hear the bustling of people that are starting to show up after their shifts today and just want to have a nice good meal and something to drink here at the tavern. And you can smell the different food that is coming out. You can smell the smells of the food wafting in from the front room. And if you were to go out there, Duruun would see you and
well, hello, lassie. Looks like someone had a good nap.
She's going to find her way to the bar as quickly and safely as she can, being tiny.
How is she? Is she going to try to flutter up there? Because the bar, for her, she's 2 feet high, so it's about double her, almost triple her height. I'm probably going to double her height, really.
She's gonna get on. She's gonna try to hop her way up onto the bar bench.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are they? Like the chairs or benches, whatever they
Bar
use.
stools, yeah.
Yeah, the stools. And then flutter onto the counter because even on the stools, she still can't reach the counter.
Okay.
and
So-
plop down.
Okay, so she finally makes her way up there, and Durham's watching, and he's not interfering. He's letting her figure it out, and he just kind of chuckles to himself.
Would you like something to eat, lassie? You look like you're a wee bit peckish.
Food.
All right, then.
And he turns around and he starts to prepare her the standard meal that he would prepare there, which is probably going to be something akin to probably some cooked carrots, probably a couple chunks of potato that have been cooked over an open fire, so they've kind of got a little bit of a little bit char to them, and then probably some sort of stew. So the stew would probably be along the lines of, gosh, melon, the stew. The stew would be like a mixture of chunks of steak and a thick broth, or thick. Gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. It's a stew, so you know what a stew is. So thick, big meaty chunks, some vegetables, and it would be very tasty. And go ahead.
He's gonna notice that she only eats the meat.
Okay, and so you completely ignore the vegetables and so he recognizes that and goes, "Oh, I see. All right." And so he turns around. He takes the plate after you've eaten, because there's not a whole lot of meat there because it's a mixture of stuff. He turns around and he gets just a small chunk of meat, like a small steak that's been cooked, and he turns around and he slaps it down in front of you, but he quickly slices it up into some smaller chunks for you.
She's gonna sit there and nibble on that while people start gathering.
Okay, so you'd be the first one then to see this, is that Spitwick arrives at the bar before everybody else does, and so Spitwick just saunters in, and he actually climbs up onto a stool next to you, and he orders an ale, and so Durham comes over and pours him an ale, and so Spitwick is drinking this pint of ale, which is, the pint is as big as his head. Like, he's basically having to stand up on the stool and then lean over to try to tip the tankard up so he can drink out of it. And his mustache and his beard has just all the white froth just coating all around his face as he's drinking the ale. So he's sitting right next to you doing this. And he notices you, but he is too busy drinking his ale, and you hear him belch a couple of times as he just sucks this thing down. After a little bit of time, all of you guys that received missives would slowly start to show up. Talina, I imagine you'd probably come downstairs from receiving your sending.
Yeah, I would have been backstage, so I would have seen the owl triple off. Didn't pay any mind until like shortly after my message came in. I'm like, oh, I should probably. Nah, I'll let the bird eat.
So yeah, you see Othwin at the bar. And because of her height, she's able to stand on the edge of the bar and just basically peck down and eat the food. She doesn't actually stand in the seat because she wouldn't be able to reach it. But then you see right next to her is Spitwick, and he is drinking a very large glass of ale. The rest of you guys, as you're entering the bar, coming to the bar, is there anything that you would do before you guys come in, or are you guys just walking in and approaching the bar?
Just walk in, approach.
Okay. For Basil, Alexander, and Daxor, since you guys are coming from away, would you guys do anything en route to the bar? Or to the tavern, I should say.
Basil would just be, making sure his backpack and the spear dangling down the side now is secure, and just making his way downtown. Making his way downtown.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Jeez. Technically, it's not downtown, but I'll
if I didn't do it, somebody else would.
So, Dax, you would be with Basil. Would you need to do anything en route? Dax?
Died, apparently.
No,
No, we're not.
my mic died.
Oh,
No, she doesn't need to do anything because she would have put on the leather armor before they left the room, and she already has most of her equipment with her.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So yeah, so you guys all arrive at the tavern. Grigor, you'd come back downstairs, and you'd notice you wouldn't need to do anything else, correct? You have everything you need?
Yep, I would also pay for any additional nights I might need.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you how many nights you'd like to purchase. Right now, basically, it's assumed that you're paid up for today. If you want to stay another night, you can pay the... Please hold. I have to open my notes. Where is the thing? Oh, man. I love this software, but it closes pages before I'm done using them.
Don't
That's
die,
the
it's bad
worst.
for your health. That's
I'm fine.
in reference to your cough.
I inhaled a piece of a Cheez-It.
Don't do
You're not
that.
supp-
There's
You're
I know,
not
right?
supposed to do that.
I know, I know.
Yeah, you're not supposed
I know.
to inhale Cheez-Its.
I know. All right, listen. I know how to eat. I just had a moment. I had a momentary lapse.
Jesus, go in your gut, not your lungs.
I know. It would cost you 4 silver for a modest room. If you wanted to move to a nicer accommodation, it would quadruple to 16 silver.
For 3 additional days for a modest room.
Okay, so you'd hand over 12 silver to Duruun. Cool. And so yeah, so you pay up for 3 more days. So you're good there. You want to go ahead and note in your notes you're good for 3 more days. Lucky Tankard, you have a room there. And for the record, Talina, you're good here as long as you're performing. You basically have an arrangement that you're able to stay here as long as you're performing. And then as soon as you go somewhere else, you have to pay.
Well, I do. My room is somewhere else. We have previously established this, but it's okay.
I thought you were staying here.
No.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, listen, it's been a couple weeks, all right? Whatever. All right, cool. So, anyways, you guys are there at the tavern. You guys have all arrived. You guys all find each other there at the bar. And, of course, you guys see Spitwick, who's standing on his tiptoes on one of the bar stools, trying to suck down the remainder of an ale at the bar, at the tavern bar.
So want to punt him.
So you come in, and he doesn't see you because his face is buried in a tankard, and it's basically just like that beer froth is all around his mustache and his beard, all around his face.
If Dax, I'm gonna say this: if Dax tries anything, Basil's going to hold out his hand to grab the back of her collar.
Well, at this point, you guys do approach. He doesn't notice. I mean, he knows that Othwin's next to him, and he knows that somebody's sitting to the right of him, whoever wanted to sit down first. But it isn't until he finishes his ale that he actually takes his little sleeve and wipes his face off and just lets out a big old belch and slaps the tankard down and moves it over and turns around and kind of has that very satisfied look on his face of someone who's just had a really good drink. Alrighty then.
Manners. Manners.
Oh, he doesn't have them. Spitwick doesn't have manners.
No, that was in character.
Oh, he's like, manners. He just chuckles.
All right, my employer sent me. The schematics have been complete, and it's your decision if you want to go this evening and go take care of them now, or if you wish to go in the morning. What's your decision?
And he looks to all of you to make a decision.
The sooner's probably the better, but would the drafter of the schematics be asleep?
I'm not sure. He might be there late, considering he's been working long and hard to finish these schematics, so he may still be there.
I mean, it's only barely sundown, right?
Sure, but by the time we get there, the sun will be. I mean, it's in the west dock, so it'll be a little bit of a walk before we get there.
Worst case, we interrupt his going to bed routine. It's whatever.
Quite possibly, yes. Yeah.
The discussion keeps going we, but I assume you're not joining us, Spitwick.
I'll be taking you there, but I won't be helping. No, this is up to you guys.
Okay.
Well, I for one don't care if he's sleeping or not. The quicker we get this done with, the better.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, let's go.
And he just kind of like climbs down from the bar stool, and as he starts to leave, you hear, and he turns around, and Durham's got his big meaty dwarven hand out, and he's just doing the like the hand where he's like clasping closed, like you didn't pay.
Oh shit.
And Spitwick is like patting himself down, trying to find coins. And he turns around and climbs back on the bar stool, and he's patting himself down, and he finally finds a couple of coins tucked down in one of his pockets, and he slaps a couple of copper down into his hand. And Durham kind of like, very well, and he stuffs it in his pocket. And Spitwick kind of has this sheepish look on his face, and he's
my bad.
And then he climbs down and starts to walk out the side of the tavern towards the riverfront. And at this point, because of how long it took for some of you guys to get there, because of how far away you were, the sun is pretty much down at this point. And so at this point, the city has now started to go to bed. People, the streets are not as, the streets do not have as many people on them. It's not nighttime yet. It is still dusk. I mean, it's not dusk. It's evening time. So there's still people kind of about, but shops are starting to close down. There's a few like taverns and eateries that may still have a couple of people lingering, and you hear music coming out of a lot of the taverns and inns, but like the shops are closing and people are starting to head home for the evening. So you have that vibe that the city is on its way to bed. And you guys are following Spitwick. Do you guys want to do anything before Spitwick starts to lead you down the path towards where you're going?
Just as we leave the tavern, Helena would just give an offhand comment, something along the lines of, that's how you get blacklisted from taverns, Spitwick.
He just kind of looks over his shoulder.
He won't blacklist me. I'm good for it. I just didn't have it on me right then, and he knows it.
And he says it in such a way that's like, does he know? Like, you're not really sure.
This entire time, Daxori's just eyeballing Spitwick.
And Spitwick catches this one. He sees that and goes,
What are you looking at, Horny?
Hey,
Daxori,
vicious mockery is my thing.
she looks at Spitwick even and her eyebrows furrow, and she's like, "What did you just call me?"
and he puts both of his tiny little hands on his hips and he leans
You heard me. You're the one who
At
kicked
this-
me, remember?
At this point, Basil's just like hands
And-
up and being like,
Yeah,
he
and
deserves whatever's coming now.
and she looks at him and she says, "You want to say that again to me? Because I'll do it again."
He roll an intimidation check.
Helena would just have a gaze of, no, you're on your own.
Okay. And then we'll do. Let's see. Hold on. Where's his sheet? Here it is. Let's go. Okay. Hold on. Intimidation is a contested roll against. Is it Constitution?
Eric is amused.
It's a flat DC usually.
Flat DC. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do this because I want to see if he's intimidated by this. So let me. We'll do a.
Inside's based on wisdom.
Yeah.
Might be the
Oh, he
best
rolled. He
choice
rolled
for-
shit. She says that. So what did she say again? How does she intimidate him?
Oh, she said, "Do you want to say that again? Because I will kick you again."
And she says this, and he recoils just a little bit. He starts to go back, and he still has his hands on his hips, but instead of leaning forward towards her, he straightens up. And you see him. He's looking up at her with squinted eyes, but then he doesn't move, but his eyes just dart down to her foot, and sit there for a second, and then back up to her, back down to her foot, back up to her. No. And he turns around and starts walking away. And so Spitwick starts leading you guys westward towards where the supposed shipwright is. Do you guys continue to follow?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just gotta say, I love this group dynamic already.
I think my favorite part is this stupid relationship between Dax and Spitwick, which I did not see coming from a mile away, and it's hilarious. I'm here for it. So yeah, so Spitwick basically starts to lead you guys westward through the docks and towards the west side of the docks. And the shipwrights in this area aren't going to be central because that's where the commerce is going to be done. That's where travelers are going to come in and out. But ship construction is going to be probably on the edge of the docks because they don't want to inhibit any sort of travelers' movement or any sort of commerce. So you basically have to go all the way to the west side of the docks, which from where you're at is not the longest walk, especially for Merrick, who just walked all the way into the University Row recently. So this is a short walk for him. But for the rest of you, it's probably about the same distance that it would have taken you guys to get to the Crooked Crane. But it's the other direction. So basically, it's going to be, like I said, about a 10 to 15 minute walk. And when you guys get to that part of the docks, at this point, it is dark. You are officially in nighttime. It's probably closer 10 o'clock at this point, maybe a little after 10. The city is basically is moving to sleep at this point. There's still a few people that are moving here and there. The street lights are now lit, which in this town, they are in the Riverside area. It's just torches. But the torches are held within inside those sconces. So they are manually lit, but they are held inside one of those glass sconces that hangs on either a pole or the edge of a building. So there is some street lights that kind of exist in this area. You do see some dock workers that are either up late or have just arrived or anything like that are milling about in the dock area. You hear the sounds of ships creaking as they kind of rock back and forth on the river for any ones that are docked here. And as you get to where you're going, Spitwick leads you to this very large building. It's much larger than any of the buildings that were further east, because obviously you've gotten to a point where you realize this is a building that needs to house a ship. It needs to be big enough that a ship can fit inside of it while it's under construction. The building is very long. It extends out the same length as a dock. It's very wide. It probably is somewhere in the neighborhood of... hold on, I can tell you how wide it is. It is probably in the neighborhood of... I can do math.
Can you though?
No. Stop calling me out like that, bro. It's probably about 80 feet wide, as far as the building's concerned. And it has these two very large wooden double doors at the front, well, one set of double doors at the front that are about a story and a half high. So they're probably about 15 feet high, and they're about 25 feet wide from side to side. Like this is designed to be something that a cart would go through, like with a horse, or like materials could be loaded in through. There's a couple of side doors, and there's these big, large, open, like windows up at the top of the building that let in natural light all the way around the building. It's a very nice looking building, but it's also like a warehouse. It's very clear this is a building that has a purpose that is meant to do something. And so as you guys get to the front of the building, Spitwick turns around and points to us.
This is Keeg's place. This is where he constructs ships. This is his place.
And it's buttoned up tight. It looks like it's closed. It looks like that that it not buttoned up. I should say it's not buttoned up tight. It looks like it's closed, but you can see the soft, dim glow of lights coming from inside, indicating there's probably some people inside.
Does he usually have some of the, I don't know, shipwright crew in there at this time of night?
He probably has a couple of his employees in there. Yeah.
Dax is looking around. Are there any windows that she can look through?
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Where's my perception? Here it is.
It's your eye sockets. Ooh, good roll. You would notice, like I said, there's those windows that are up high that are probably about, they're probably about 3 to 4 stories off the ground. They're pretty, because this is a very tall building, because again, ships. So there's those windows up there. Near the front, there are 2 small windows on either side of the door. I say small. They're small in comparison. They're probably about 5 feet wide by about 5 feet tall, square windows at the front to let in light from the street. But they are about, they're probably about, I'd say 8 feet off the ground.
So there's nothing at her height where she could look in.
No, not from her height. If you wanted to try to like climb up on something and look through one of the windows, you probably could.
Is there anything she can climb up on?
With that perception roll, you'd notice that there's some crates and barrels, not under them, but nearby, that you could very easily try to move and put underneath the window to look in. You'd probably have to move them maybe 5-10 feet.
That's exactly what she's gonna do.
Okay.
Question from Basil, as this is happening. Just question from me as the player.
Uh-huh.
So this is a shipbuilding warehouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's facing the river dock, right?
That's correct.
Like one could assume there's a giant opening that faces the river.
One could assume that.
As Basil, who is both, his background and works on the docks pretty much all day, is there a route to get to the end point? And would I know if those have giant doors or not?
1 second. My fiance just called me. Let me go ahead and text her real quick.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, what was your question? Something about the opening and a route to get there?
So, would there be a path along the side of the warehouse building that would go down towards the river?
So there is
the water body. Is there a giant door though?
Half of the building is on the Oh, sorry. 1 second. It's emergency. Give me a second.
Copy.
This is when we entertain Twitch chat, right?
Yes.
Quick, somebody post owl gifs. Oh wait.
They can't see them.
Yeah,
I
They
know.
can't see the Twitch. They can't see Twitch chat. Can't see the owl gifts.
And if you post the gifts, you'll get the BAP from AutoMod.
Well, they wouldn't give in Twitch chat anyway, so that'd be moot.
That would
Depends
be
on what kind of audience we have. We might just have to put up some phone game that takes up half the screen, and then another half the screen is going to be like robotic text reading some shit, and it has to be like 15-second clips.
My guy, we've been playing D&D for 3.5
people like
hours.
that.
If we have the kind of attention span peoples that need mobile games on screens, they left 3.5 hours ago.
That is very true.
Well, no, see, that's how you draw them in, right? You lull them into a false sense of security, and then you give them actual D&D. Who knows? Maybe they'll be interested.
Yeah, but we're 3.5 hours late for that trick.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm just scrolling through my list of vicious mockeries again. These are good. I have 107.
So what you have to do is you
of
just
them
have to
that I haven't
hijack the
used.
stream and then post memes.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
That would be very dangerous if any of us got Neon Stream Key. Not that I would abuse it.
Sure.
He said.
You're the one who
for
said it
legal
would be
reasons.
dangerous. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, that's the kind of information you wouldn't want to give out to people.
I mean, you usually don't want to give any information out to anybody.
Yes.
information is scary. Get a
Okay.
VPN. I don't have a sponsorship. I just say that.
I am back. Real quick, my fiance has an issue. Her phone's about to die. She has no money because it's a thing, and she's trying to change her tire, and I have to go help her. So we're gonna wrap this up here. It was actually right where I was gonna stop, anyways. So
Cool.
give me a
Excellent.
second. I'm gonna hit you guys a point here real quick where we have a little cliffhanger. I'm giving you this information only because I need to end sooner than I was anticipating. So, real
Yeah,
quick.
that's fine.
In answer to your question, the building goes, half of the building is on land or is on the dock, and the other half extends out into the water, but it's solid wall from the dock edge to the water. But from the edge, you can see there's docks from the inside of the building that extend out a little bit. So there are docks, but they are covered. So you can't just walk around the outside of the building. But I will say, as Dax is looking into the window, she peers inside, and it's rather dark, but it's dimly lit through a few lanterns and torches that are scattered throughout. And you can very easily see, with your tiefling eyes in this low-lit environment, you can very easily see there are about 2 or 3 individuals that are currently working at various stations throughout. One's working with some hand tools, one's working with some parchment and paper, and then there's another one who's using a saw in the back corner on something, and it looks like business as usual and everything's going normal. And as you're about to climb down and let everybody know this, something catches your eye, and you see 2 hands emerge from a hole in the ground where you notice there's water. So you realize what you're looking in is the inside of the warehouse. There's spots that the walkways don't cover everything up, and you can see water beneath it, which is obviously the river. And you see 2 hands slowly come out of the water and grab the edge of the dock and grip it tight and start to pull, and you see a head emerge from the water, and then you see another one and another one and another one. And you realize that several individuals are climbing up out of the water quietly and climbing up onto the dock. And as this is happening, this is where we're going to stop until our next session.
Sausage.
Yep. So, and that's actually, ironically, this is exactly where I wanted to end tonight, which is perfect, so it works out well. But I do need to kind of move and scoot because I have to go help her
Save her.
out.
Yeah.
So,
All
I
good.
gotta save my fiance. So, thank you guys so much for playing. Hopefully, you guys had a good night tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you and good night.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you guys very, very much for playing. Thank you, chat, for hanging out and watching. The VOD will be up as soon as I can get it taken care of, so probably sometime tomorrow. Guys, if you guys have any feedback as players that you would like to offer from tonight, anything constructive that you guys think I can do better on as a DM, or things that I need to be more on top of, please feel free to drop that in the campaign party chat, since I can't sit and talk to you guys tonight. And yeah, thank you guys very, very much. I had a blast. This was a lot of fun. I missed playing with you guys. I cannot wait for next session. We'll figure out a schedule as soon as I am not dealing with an emergency. So.
Say hi
Blah
to
blah rescue mission. Go.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.